What's going on, you bunch of hooligans? 6 o'clock. Good morning. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Commanders win their first postseason game since 2005, taking down the Buccaneers 23-20 after a Zane Gonzalez kick doinks in. Baker only missing 3 throws all game, but after a turnover inside the Bucs 20, after stopping the Commanders on a 4th down, changed the game. Commanders go to face the Lions at 7 p.m. on Saturday. New England Patriots have their new head coach in Mike Vrabel, releasing Gerard Mayo just 1 year after naming him the heir apparent. Mike Vrabel to New England always made sense after his comments after being added to their Ring of Honor. And still a game tonight, Vikings and Rams. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Winner will take on the Eagles next week in the divisional round. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome into a Monday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We got most of the crew with us today. Good news, Ramon Foster is back in studio. We got Robert Walsh behind the glass, making it all happen. I'm Kayla Anderson. Will bowling out today and tomorrow, but we will make the show go. We're going to sprinkle in some ingredients today. We've got a little bit of everything for you guys because it is weird. It's not a reaction Monday.
Nah, it's not a Titans one.
Not a Titans one, but we did have a lot of NFL action.
Yeah,
we'll get to that, guys, because I watched about every game.
Was there a game this weekend? There was a bunch of games.
There was maybe like one or two. One in particular, I know you guys.
That wasn't a game on Saturday.
You guys were focused on.
This wasn't no game. What do you speak of? What does he speak of, Kayla?
I don't know. There might have been one biggie between your all's two teams, which I believe now.
That
we
hell
all
of
swept this year.
That hell of a place.
They won one.
No, we got one.
They did win one.
We
Forgot
did not sweep
about
them.
that.
All I'll say is this is a great week to stop smoking cigarettes. No sad bath, no cigarettes, no nothing, man. It was great.
You just really out here is what you telling me.
I'm telling you, free as a bird.
Free as a bird. Late night, too? Kayla.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good thing about Saturday game.
No, it's not the good thing about Saturday games. It's not the best thing about Saturday. Here I was over here stressing, okay? Matter of fact, stressing with a C. S-C-R-E-S-S-I-N, okay? Stressing is what I was doing because I'm worried. I had so many worries on my plate. All right, cool. All right, got to go to Baltimore. Hell of a place that is, all right? Crab cakes ain't that good whenever you got to play. I don't know what they're doing to the crab cakes. Jimmy's Seafood, never heard of them, okay?
Ooh,
but then,
Jimmy's getting hit.
They hit him with a night game, Kayla. They hit him with just all the antics. Ray Lewis coming out. What's the name of his little dance? His little dance that he do, huh?
What you call it a dance?
Little dance.
It's a squirrel dance.
It's a squirrel. Oh, I bet it is.
What they call it?
What's crazy is I used to do it in high school. That's how long it was. I did that dance in high school, Kayla, and played against that man in the NFL. You want to talk about a surreal moment. You remember when Ray Lewis, when Under Armour had like the campaign going, when Under Armour was really about to go up, and everything that everybody wore was Under Armour. You got some Under Armour on? And Ray Lewis, what time is it? I used to do that.
I remember that.
But the dogs in the house. Oh, my God. I used to go crazy off that in high school football. Shout out to my high school football coach, Coach Johnny McAdams. He allowed us to do those things. We ended up getting a tunnel with smoke coming out of it.
Did you win? So you were able to do that? Yeah.
We won big, man.
He was like, okay, I'll let y'all do that.
And we lost to Covington High School twice my senior year, man, by a combined total of 4 points.
Wow.
Yes, man. They got us by one. Damn. No, they got us by 3 one time and then 1 in the playoff game. We were solid. We would have won state that year. I sound like somebody off of Texas high school.
Like Uncle Rico. Man, if they'd have put me in, I'd be somewhere in a hot tub, bathing it up with my soulmate.
or punting or something?
I was a kicker.
Kicking. Okay.
I kicked also, man. I won Mr. Football that year, too. So I balled.
Yes,
I don't know
you
what the team did. I balled, okay?
You could do any dance you want.
But Ray Lewis, man, I saw him do his little squirrel dance or whatever this past weekend, Kayla. So
to bring all the big guys, right?
Man, listen, playoff football. I'm surprised Bert didn't go to it. Playoff football is what we're watching this past weekend. Man, it's just different.
It's fun to watch.
The crowds, different. The players, the field, the coaches. There's nothing. There's nobody put on a better presentation than like NFL when it comes to playoff football, especially at nighttime too. Like going to the college football playoff in Columbus with Ohio State and the Vols, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. But like that's the reason teams clamor so hard to be good.
To get those home games.
Kayla, oh my gosh. It's so fun.
And
man,
then there's just some teams that blow that away, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. And I know but I can't spot that. Bert
it's like
bet
words
on that game, and he took the Commanders. And I should have just went with my gut because the Commanders have treated me right all year. I've bet on them so many times,
been riding with them.
And they have given me the dub. And Bert took him this weekend, and sure enough, went and spoiled Baker Mayfield and Company's day down there.
I went 3-0 in Thursday.
Yeah, you did.
Really?
Yeah, you did.
I went 3-0, baby.
I need to check mine.
Because you did not do
you
so
did not
hot,
do 3-0. You went 1-2.
Which means we're tied. We're tied, baby. You did all that talking, and now look where we at. Oh, how's Bert going to produce the show? How's Bert going to produce the show at 12 walking pound? I don't know. I guess we'll never know. How about that?
What if we all tie for first?
Then I think we just have a nice pizza party.
Okay.
So the bet was, do we tell the bet? The bet was what? So we do our Thursday threes, and then our Thursday three, we take 3 picks, 3 games, cannot pick money line on it, right? You got to either pick spreads, pick total points, and no prop bets. So we're getting to the end of it right now, and the loser, by the way, the loser has to walk a walking treadmill for the entire show. So that's what we're competing
Please,
for.
someone lose.
I know.
Someone please lose. I don't even care if it's me who loses. I just want to see that happen. No, you remember that when they used to roll in the VHS?
Yeah.
It's Pizza Party Friday. They rolled in the big TV and you got to watch a movie and didn't have to do crap.
I'm just glad we chose the walking treadmill during the show as opposed to this Waffle House challenge.
What is that?
Y'all hadn't seen this Waffle House?
I've had to do it before.
You have we talked about this? You completed it?
I did complete it. Yeah. So Kayla or anybody else that's not familiar.
There's a lot going on right now on social media. Like guys are posting their L's. I saw a dude last night. It was like, I never would wish this on my worst enemy.
So you have to do 24 hours in your local Waffle House. And for every waffle that you eat, it takes an hour off of your 24-hour clock. So guys are going in there with a bunch, and this is a fantasy football punishment. So people that come in last in their fantasy football leagues, people who are the last to get married, it is a punishment of some sort. Whoever lost the death pool in your office pool, whatever is going on. So people are going in there, and there's a bunch of different strategies for how you can take this down. Some people go out there and try to eat a bunch of waffles up front. Some people try to eat waffles with no syrup, but most of the time it just ends up with somebody throwing up in the parking lot.
Damn.
Yeah, buddy, the dude that I saw actually last night, he was just like, this is my last one, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it down. But he got up, walked. He said he gave up his whole regimen. Like he did 10 laps around the restaurant. He ate 8 strips of bacon, so many cups of coffee, just to change up the variation of what he was eating. He was like, all that time, though, no fights. Man, that would be crazy.
You know what's funny is maybe I should just put, if I do make that bet in the future, I'll just make Travis do it because he keeps bugging me about going to freaking Waffle House.
Does he?
Can we go to Waffle House this morning? Can we go to Waffle House this morning at 6 a.m.? Can we go to Waffle House this morning?
It's so good, though.
I don't want to go to Waffle House this morning.
Hey, you can get carry out. You don't have to eat in there.
You don't? I love
See, and I feel like it would hurt the experience.
What's that? Doing carry out?
Well, yeah, because you know how it's just not the same?
Yeah,
When you get it on the plate and you're sitting in the booth, just something about carry out from certain restaurants is not the same.
That's also how you know a Waffle House is a bad Waffle House.
Yeah.
If it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, they're like, "Oh, we're only doing carry out. Oh, y'all's food is ass. Then.
Yep.
Y'all have some bad food. Then
we went yesterday after church. Okay, all right, that's what I'm telling you. Hell yeah,
I'll
it's like a Sunday tradition. It's like a Sunday tradition for us. Travis can come join us, man. Come to Long Hollow Baptist and join us, man.
That's what I was gonna say. He can go with you guys.
Yeah, I can meet him off Briley. I'll pick him up.
That's perfect.
I'll pick him up for sure.
Make it a Waffle House.
I got this dude's Waffle House challenge from his fantasy football loss. You want to hear his final stats?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Final stats from this guy. I'm gonna give him credit too, because ain't like he know us and we don't know him either. Tyler Renew is his name. At Tyler, he did his final stats: 237 different customers, 13 waffles, 11 coffees, 10 laps around the building. He also inherited 6 new jukebox songs, 5 bathroom breaks, 4 screaming toddlers, 3 different waitresses, 3 pieces of bacon,
and a
2 visits from friends and family, 2 shift changes. Miraculously, no fights.
Dang. He picked a good Waffle House,
He did pick a good one.
Where is he at? What state?
I'm not even
off
sure.
Nolansville Pike.
Is he off Nolanville?
I don't know.
He's right here.
I believed you.
Right here in town, man.
I was believing you.
Well, we got a good show for you today. It is a Monday. We want to get you out the door and put a smile on your face, maybe get you a little bit of an energy boost as you head into work, because technically, like, the holidays are over. So I think that this time of the year, we're like, okay, we need something to get us going.
We're back
That's
now.
what RKW is for. We'll talk about the NFL wildcard weekend. Titans GM search continues, guys. We'll give you an update. They finished a whole bunch of interviews. They're moving on to round 2 here this week. Mr. Mike Vrabel, he is headed to the New England Patriots. Was this the plan all along? We'll talk about that and get your thoughts. And we've got a special guest coming up at 9 o'clock. So you're just going to have to stick with us because we're going to introduce that soon. But yes, special guest coming up who's going to be in studio, right?
Yeah, looking forward to it too.
So you got to just stick along to make sure you know who that is. That and much more coming up this morning on RKW. We'll be right back with NFL headlines.
If you're often feeling tired, lacking motivation, drive, or gaining weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Listen to me. Don't wait. Go ahead and find out, because at Low T Center, they make it easy to get your levels checked. It's just a simple test. And with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back right there on site, all right? Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office either. Their physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement treatment therapy, all right, or TRT for each patient. The experts at Low T Center have over a decade of experience helping patients. And super important, the personal treatment plans are optimized for each patient. These aren't just basic standard treatments. No, absolutely not. For the current patients also, Low T Center offers you a $150 referral credit for each patient that you refer to them. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated too for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medication. So if it's new year, you want to get on track, they got you, all right? So get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com today to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Welcome back into RK on this fine Monday morning. The snow has melted. Hopefully, it did not get you into any trouble this weekend. Maybe some of you guys had some snow days, played in the snow. Did y'all do anything with your kids?
My youngest went out. Miles went out a little bit with the neighborhood kids and stuff like that. RJ 16. He was just like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good. I was like, all right, well, cool then. Cool guy.
Yeah.
But it was, I didn't go out in it. I just watched it. It was beautiful, man. I got my snow fix is what it was this past weekend.
It was there and then it was gone.
It was.
Cool.
Kind of like me as a father. I ignored my kids.
I was going to say, what did you say? I mean, did your kids just, you made them stay in?
They just keep contacting me saying like, we need money for shoes. We need money for food. And I'm like, ask your mama. And then I hang up. You know, I don't bother with them.
You sound like your stepdad, Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do something around here, and it ain't going to be me.
You told her she was going to be a great single mother, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be a fantastic single mama.
I shouldn't joke about that as a person raised by a single mom.
Shout out to the single moms out there.
Yeah, your mama is your mama too, man. That's
Come
right.
on, man.
Hey, man, that's my rock right there, dog. What is wrong with you, Robert?
I mean,
Kayla, what have y'all been doing since I've been gone, man? Like, seriously.
I mean, just dealing with the drama that comes along with
all Tennessee sports at this
city.
point. I was going to ask, we didn't even do a quick recap of everything that happened while I was gone.
Well, that's because there's too much. It felt like 2 weeks.
Ran got fired on Tuesday at the end of our show.
Correct.
I watched all of that massacre on Bucks, Zach and Blaine and Zach and 3HL. Boy, this was
wild. I think our YouTube numbers were like some of the most we've ever seen.
Nuts.
Yeah, Bert can confirm that. But
yeah, I think we did something like 85,000 views in a couple days. In recent history, it is the most viewed hit span of Zone TV's YouTube.
Isn't that wild?
So Rand's situation had like 2 days, 36, 48 hours, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then, boom, out of nowhere, Mike Keith.
Yeah.
Wow.
Headed to Tennessee Volunteers.
Headed to the Vols. I ain't gonna lie, I was happy as hell. I would not lie. But at the same
it's great
time,
for him.
I listened to the fan response from Titans fans and Vols fans. It's two totally separate conversations. Sure. Like Vols fans, which are Titans fans too, was like, hell yeah, leave them behind. But the Titans fans are just like, do you do anything right? You know, you ever had somebody talk to you in a calm voice like, you sure about that? Huh?
Yeah,
it was just,
I have had that happen.
There was a lot. Me too, Kayla. Look,
it's very hard for me to hold back in those situations.
Was that the smartest thing you ever did?
Exactly,
you know
right?
But there was a lot of news that came out.
It was a lot going on. And Mike Keith joined the show as well, thanks to you. And you joined in, so you got to talk to him about that, making that happen. That was really cool. So I understand. Look, I understand Titans fans' frustrations to the utmost. I understand what they're going through, and to lose maybe the most stable part of your organization, that is like a punch in the face. But for Mike, I understand it too. He's been in that position for a very long time,
27 years,
and it's like a dream job of his to go and to be the voice of his alma mater. I mean, it's just a really incredible opportunity, and it does not come along in this business very often. It really doesn't, folks.
It doesn't.
So you can be frustrated, and I completely get it, but for Mike, I think it's just such a wonderful opportunity.
He's a Tennessee kid. Like you said, Mike Keith deserved that one.
Yeah.
I know I'm watching everything unfold like over the week because I'm sitting back. I'm really like stressed.
What the heck were you doing? Were you sitting back with like a big screen TV with the streams on and just smirking like I don't have to be a part of this, but I'm going to sit back and just take it all in?
Because Doug Fallon said in the chat like it was a crazy week. All the conspiracies behind everything that everybody had to say and the opinions behind Miss Amy Adams Strunk and the Titans and the Vols and Mike Keith. Like it was I thoroughly, Kayla won't lie, enjoyed not having to like be a psychiatrist for a few days.
Yeah.
But that and the funny part is what Buck is doing to Lucas, which I think we need to do to Will too. Whenever he comes back,
the future voice of the Tennessee Titans,
we need to just lean in. Because watching Lucas be that uncomfortable, I absolutely loved it. I won't lie.
Okay, if you want to start leaning in, then I'll lean in
sprinkle it in every once in a while.
Okay. Well, they're going up against each other, I guess. So we make it a show thing, you know?
Now, I don't want that house
competition.
Beef. I don't want that house beef.
It's just competition.
Titans got a lot on their plate, though.
They got some stuff to figure out.
They got some good talent to choose from, too. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to what comes in the future, though, because there is always sun that's going to come up on the other side, like it's about to come up here in Nashville, Tennessee. Sun's coming up for some of these wild card teams, man. We had some upsets this weekend. I'm curious. I'm going to go over the scores real quick, but I'm curious to see who looks best to you after this wild card weekend. Hopefully, you won't say your enemy there, but the Steelers fall to the Ravens, 28-14. Derrick Henry again, guys. Derrick Henry being Derrick Henry at the age of 30?
I think so.
I mean, and he's running for 186 yards, 2 tutties, casual. That to me is not a surprise because we covered this man and he never seemed to really lose a step. But this couldn't have been a better situation for him. And I know Titans fans are frustrated, but they're also really happy for him.
No doubt, man. This situation again. I had somebody tell me this recently. Well, no, it was years back. It was Coach Tomlin. It's like when the league goes one way, watch the smart teams run in the opposite direction. When it was, I'll never forget, like, even we were in, like, to the high-flying passing, quick offenses at the line of scrimmage, like West Coast stuff that we were doing, like, check at the line of scrimmage. And Coach T used to always tell us, like, look, this is always going to be a big man's game. This is a runner's league. And right now we're watching the importance, and I hope it somewhat stays there, too, because I think football has gotten a little too cute at times.
I'm with you on that.
Like, is that okay? Like, I love,
like the run, like, especially during the playoffs, that hard-nosed run
because
game.
You take the will. You take the soul of a person in those moments right there. Like the quick outs, I'm with it. Like I love seeing the ball spin through the air. And these quarterbacks are good these days too. But I remember him saying, look, the smart teams will always have a runner and they will always put physicality ahead of everything else. And that's where Baltimore was smart. Derrick Henry, you got to give it to him. For the folks that said the Titans should have franchise tagged him, no, he probably would have retired. I would have. Like, no, why would you make me stay here? Let me go free. And I can understand the fans wanting Derrick to be a Titan for life. But you can see, like I see, like, I don't know if I've seen Derrick run like this since, like, his 2,000-yard season. And not only just that, like, I've talked about, like, the AFC North. Damn that. He's ran all over the AFC North. Derrick Henry, physically,
division.
is running as hard as I've ever seen him. Looked like he's having fun. There was times throughout the early portion of this season to where Baltimore, I think, Bert, was it the Cleveland game, to where he didn't have like that many rushes and they were just like, okay, whatever. Like they had a plan for him. And that plan was late November, December, and playoff football.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I've ever seen him run in my time covering. I don't know if I've ever seen him run that hard the way he has, like this second half of Baltimore season.
It's so fun to watch.
I can't even front.
It's so fun to watch.
I wasn't even mad at it. I was just like, yep, demon home.
That's what I was going to say. You can't really be.
That's all you can say. It's like the demon is home. What are you going to do about it?
And the crazy thing is, they wanted to give him the ball more. They called read options, but the Steelers keyed on the run so hard that Lamar had to keep it. That's why he had 11 first-half rushes, because they were keying on Derrick Henry so hard. So he could have had even more carries than he had.
Yeah. Must be nice to have that issue, though, where you can just have your quarterback.
And then it got to a point where Pittsburgh couldn't, not go at Lamar, and then lo and behold, Lamar started throwing down the field. Isaiah Likely, to me, is probably I say y'all got a lot of important players on that. Baltimore's got a lot of important players on it.
Though.
He's legit. He's next up. Soon as Mark Andrews.
He's likely going to be a star.
Yeah, I saw what you did right there. He is on his way. If Baltimore can't find a way to pay him, some team's going to gladly give him the bag. He's going to be a hot commodity. And he's just so doggone big. That dude is a monster, man. But we'll get to most impressive teams. Sound like I'm already talking about them.
I do want to know real quick before we move on, what is the temperature in Pittsburgh right now with Mike Tomlin?
It's settled, from my understanding.
So he is going to return.
Their Jimmy Wyatt, Jerry Dulac, came out yesterday. I said, because teams have in-house reporters.
Yeah.
He came out yesterday and said, like, he don't get that from nobody. He's getting that straight from Art Rooney, okay? The team owner. And he said that the Steelers have no plans of making change with Mike Tomlin. But that fan base, though, Kayla?
I was just going to say, man, what I've heard from the fan base, you hear it firsthand.
It's toxic. But I was explaining this to somebody last night. Like, I think there are teams that would fire their coach if Mike T is fired just to hire him.
Hands down. I was thinking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
I even was thinking about Do not yell at me, okay?
No, go ahead, do
I
your
was
thing,
like,
do your thing.
if they fired him, would the Titans just push the dump button?
I'm going to yell at you.
Bert, yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm
Yeah,
selfishly doing that for myself because Mike Tomlin is awesome.
I don't see. Here's the thing.
Sometimes you need a new change of scenery, by the way.
But here's the thing about it. Like, them firing him, Mike Tomlin, like, all right, cool. You want to change the scenery. Who's the guy?
Yeah, no, exactly, for them.
And maybe that's their biggest handcuff more than anything. Like, there's nobody that's a Pittsburgh-like guy, maybe even an offensive-minded dude that can do what you need him to do in that city. That's my own. That's just like, and I'll even say, like, that's like Baltimore firing Harbaugh. Like, Bert, who's a guy that come to mind for you for Harbaugh?
Right. Who could fill those shoes? It's like old George Jones just singing about who's going to fill their shoes.
No one.
And maybe that's their biggest issues. Like, there's like, I had a homeboy of mine bring up Aaron Glenn. I'm like, okay, but like Detroit is way different than what Pittsburgh's got. Like, they got like 8, 10 like Pro Bowl, All Pro guys.
He's looking to maybe possibly get that job in New York. I've heard.
But like, the way I look at it is like his success is Dan Campbell's.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what Aaron Glenn's going to be as a head coach. Do I think he'd be successful? Yes. But, like, to fire a legend coach to go get an unknown commodity is, I guess, the biggest handcuff that you have. And there's a lot of stuff that go on behind it. But here's the other thing. I see Danny said, like, dude can coach. That's the thing about Mike Tomlin. It's a matter of, like I say, you got to be a good team, you got to continually knock at the door of success. And I feel like the knocking is there. It just boils down to one or two players, a quarterback. Because hell, think about it. This ain't no Steelers show, but I can go on and on and on.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something that you got to talk about, though, because he's been there for a while, but they haven't been able to go over the hump in terms of the playoffs.
No, for real?
And I know that Steelers fans want to make that happen. The team that I was most impressed with, guys, that I don't think I would be saying this if it was last weekend.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Is it Buffalo?
No.
It's not.
The Texans.
Ooh.
The freaking Texans, y'all.
Okay.
Everybody thought, like, okay, the Los Angeles Chargers, they're going to go into Houston. They're going to put the hammer down because the Texans have looked lowly. Like, C.J. Stroud has seemed to have had issues this season. They just haven't seemed to be right. I think they might have gotten their get right game against the Titans, honestly. And we mentioned it was really important for them to kind of get back in a flow and to win that game for their franchise, obviously not for the Titans. They whooped up on the Chargers, guys, 32-12. And it was turnover city for the LA Chargers. That defense for Houston looked unfreaking. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Herbert with 4 interceptions, guys. And again, it's like Justin Herbert in the playoffs. It's like oil and water. They just don't mix well.
My thing is, who told Justin Herbert that it was smart to throw at Derek Stingley Jr.?
Not me.
That's what's most confusing to me. Is like, who told you to throw at him? But here's what I did see too. Like, they got to figure out their quarterback. I do think the offense is solid. I do think the Chargers game plan on what they want to do, be physical, be able to throw the ball down the field. Justin Herbert didn't make smart decisions this past weekend.
It was bad.
It was. And then that defense, too, was all over him. Like, you got to give it up, man, for that Houston Texans defense. They looked playoff ready.
Good, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it really legitimately looked like they were lined up and ready to go. And D'Amico Ryans was all on it. They had great special teams in that game, too.
Special teams was awesome,
I know they ran back a 2-pointer on them also. It was a complete game for a team that needed it in the worst way because I thought, like you, I thought they were skidding.
I thought they were
for
done.
the most part. I did too. And I thought, of course, with a championship coach like John, which one is it, John or Jim out west?
Jim
Harbaugh. I just figured they were just going to bully him in Houston. And for a minute, it was close. But C.J. Stroud looked the part again, has his flubs here and there, but the young man can play, man. As I like to say, you want you one of those.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his whole cast of weapons. That's the other thing. Like, Diggs is gone.
No Diggs.
Dell, is it Dell?
Tank Dell is down, too, so having to find another guy. Nico Collins, though.
Steps up.
Rises to the occasion.
He does.
Absolutely. X-type players, man. That's one thing we've been missing for a while is what the Titans don't have. They don't have an X-type of player.
Absolutely.
No.
Even the Chargers with Lad McConkey.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's been a stunner for them this year.
I got one issue. I'm talking about one friggin' issue with the Chargers. Who in hell told them that going to Quentin Johnston was the right thing to do?
Dude, he made some mistakes.
Who is continually dialing up plays for him? 5 targets, no catches. But
one
not
bounced off his chest and went into the hands of who, I didn't even know which one defender that was that one time.
I ain't going to ever talk about nobody and what they plan to do with their careers and telling their mamas they need to retire. But, bro, you don't do that. Like,
that was bad. Yeah.
Quentin Johnston, come on, bro.
Come on, man. Anything else that stood out to you in terms of wins last? I know you mentioned the Bills. They took care of the Broncos in every way possible.
I thought it was good, but I think I saw a red light come on in the studio back there.
You know, the one thing I didn't hear this weekend?
What's that?
None of these teams belong in the playoffs. Why are we? I don't like that. With this guy, right? Nobody's saying anything like college football, and we had one good game.
Yeah.
We had one good game.
They were
Why are the Broncos in the playoffs? This should have been the Bengals. Shut up! Shut up and watch this football.
Right?
You're right. I wonder why it is different between college and NFL.
Because it wasn't any different.
It wasn't. Pittsburgh got beat by 14. I'm looking at the scores right now. Houston by 20. I mean, what is that?
Packers
20
and Eagles.
Seriously. I mean, Buffalo and Denver, 31-7. Why? Why was that not the case?
It's kind of weird if you think about it. I thought we'd have a little bit more of a competitive wild card round. But I guess you see some of the teams, and maybe they're going in with the most mojo right now, and will make for a better second round.
I think I know what it is. Denver got beat by 24. I think I know what it is more than anything. You had a bunch of traditionalist teams in the playoffs. I think that's what it is. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, nobody's going to bat an eye at that.
Nope.
Minnesota, L.A., still a good one. That's tonight.
Yep.
Houston's probably the only outlier because the Chargers are a legacy team. And then, of course, Green Bay, Philly, legacies. Tampa Bay and Washington, legacy teams. Buffalo, Denver. Is that why the fan bases are just that rabid that you really didn't care that it was bad games because you're going to cheer regardless?
Probably. You got the Commanders, too, in this, where obviously this was a road game for them. But the Commanders, who you said, they had their tradition for so long, and that was went down the drain for a while. But they just won their first playoff game since 2006.
20 years. Close to 20 years.
20 years.
Almost.
It's hard to believe that is the first time that they've won a playoff game.
And if I'm not mistaken, too, the only road team or away team to win, too. They were.
Were they the only way?
Yeah, every home team won this past weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Sure did. Yep.
And tonight it won't matter because they moved the game to Arizona.
Moved the game to Arizona. So. Yeah, man, condolences to everybody out there too in LA. I know we joke about California's moving to Tennessee. We see why now.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of friends and family out there, so it's been an emotional time for even those people that may have not lost everything. They know somebody that has, and so it's really kind of a emotional time over there, and I reach out to my friends every day to check in.
No doubt about it.
You got to be there for them. So if you want to, I guess, donate to the Red Cross, I know they've got a link too that you can do that. So, well, guys, when we come back, we're going to share our special guest in terms of letting you know who that is.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. Plus, speaking of head coaches in the NFL, guys, there is a college coach that is a hot commodity, and specifically to go to the Chicago Bears. We'll get into that and much more coming up on RKW here on 104.5 The Zone.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space? Well, have you also ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there. But I'm here to tell you that moisture in your crawl space can create an unhealthy issue that can make their ways into the air you breathe in your home every single day. It's Ramon Falson. This is where United Structural Systems can help you out. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. Help control moisture and those musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. That's right. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space. It also helps deter mold and mildew and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. Turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Simply reach out to the people that I trust, man, at USSTN.com. That's the website. You can go there at USSTN.com or simply call them the old school way, man. Pick up the phone and call them at 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Wrapping up hour one here on RKW. Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling off for the next couple of days. And I'm going to make you wait just a couple minutes longer until we announce our special guest in the 9 o'clock hour. Yes, and this special guest will be joining us in studio for the entire 9 a.m. hour. But before we get to that, the Chicago Bears reportedly want to interview Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman for that head coach opening. That is per NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. So he said, I am told the team wants to interview Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman for the job. Freeman is in the midst of obviously a magical run with the Fighting Irish to be now in the national championship game. He goes on to say that the Bears have done extensive research for months on Marcus Freeman. He's the only 39-year-old, and it would not be a shock if at some point at least considers going to the NFL. Yeah, he is so young, too. I forget about that as well.
No doubt about it, man. I mean, when the NFL comes knocking, most times you answer that call. Yeah. You just do. But here's the thing, though, too. Notre Dame is run like an NFL squad in a sense. Like they have no revenue share with anybody. They get all the money in. They got one of the most prideful fan bases out there. And this man here, to take that team, 2 years for him on the job? 2-3 years for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame? For him to get them to where they are right now, like, that's a hard decision to be made because he can be a god there at GAWD because, of course, you don't want to mess with Touchdown Jesus up there on campus, all right, in South Bend.
He's looking out on you.
No, absolutely not. But, like, to me, he seems more of a college coach, the way he coaches guys up, the way he runs his team, the way he motivates guys. And Dion Sanders even said it a little bit. I think he said it's hard to motivate millionaires. Well, Marcus Freeman's finding a way to do it now, but here's what he's also doing. From my understanding, they recruit a specific type of kid, athlete. Parents from like two-parent households is what he go after. He goes from parents that have athletic backgrounds. The transfers that they get in got to at least be able to come in and give them more than 1 year. So you got to spend 2 years there. Right. The other kids that they get, like I know Ran Carthon, Jordan is there. Like you need to be a graduate of another school. That's why Riley is there. What is the quarterback's name? He's a graduate of Duke to be able to come there.
I didn't realize that was one of the stipulations.
Because one, getting to Notre Dame is hard in itself. It's very procedures in how they go about it. So he has a criteria for what he's looking for. That's why you see so many former NFL players, sons committing to him also because of he's running it a certain type of way. And that can be very attractive to NFL teams. It's just how much can you incorporate that style to a bunch of grown men that hadn't won? Like that's the thing about Notre Dame. They had been in a solid spot almost anyway. The Bears are in a position where how much can you wrangle in, you know what I'm saying, their quarterback at this point right now, Caleb Williams. Like, how much of the offense will the players respect the coaches that he will bring in? So if I was him, I would pass on it.
Okay.
That would be another opportunity, I'm sure, for him. He go win this national championship.
I was going to say, there's got to be other teams that would look at him.
Absolutely. I mean, he fits the bill of everything you're looking for. Young enough, like you just said, passionate enough about it, as you can tell, and his system in place. The way I see Notre Dame this year as opposed to others when they were in the national championship conversation, I know our good friend, I text him afterwards, too, every single time. He's so geek. Mike Golick Jr.,
I bet. I always forget that
he's losing his mind right now. The difference, I think, between this team and that one is this, and all the rest of them. He's in a spot to where he's actually beating teams. The amount of discipline he has on his squad.
I think that's a big part of it,
Kayla,
right?
I mean, to beat Georgia.
And they're kind of beat up right now, too. For them to continue to rally and, like, put that type of product out there with the injuries they've had.
Mm-hmm. And again, they got embarrassed earlier this year by Northern Illinois, and it was
cool. Seems like 3 years ago, right?
It does. I mean, but that's the other thing, too. It happened so early in the season. I heard that coach from Northern Illinois reached out to him. It's like, this is how we beat you. Like, to also be smart enough to not let a bad moment consume you. Like, that speaks volumes about the kind of character he has. I always heard coaches say, I don't care where good ideas come from. Mm-hmm. So you know he's a smart guy and a humble mind about how he approaches the job. I just can see myself in his spot taking the Bears job, considering what he's built up so fast there. I think it's sustainable, too.
And I think also if he doesn't win a national championship this year, because it's going to be really difficult to do it against this Ohio State team.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, showed some imperfections this past weekend, but still showed that it was the best team right now in the college football playoff. I mean, when you look at what they did in terms of their offense without the guy that we've talked about in terms of this whole playoffs, the young wide receiver, I'm like drawing of Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith. Yeah.
They did it without him. I mean, he had one reception for 3 yards.
Boy, was getting triple teamed out.
Right, but they have all these other weapons that they can find a way to get it done. And oh yeah, by the way, they've got a great defense. But I think if Marcus Freeman can't get it done this year, I still feel like he has the tools and the players to make another run at it next year. And maybe that's something he wants to check the box off of before he moves on.
I'm telling somebody like with how he's running their program right now, my youngest is going to end up playing football. Like, I'd send my Miles there for sure. I'd send Miles
I could
there.
totally see that.
Like you would send your kids there, right? Like, hey, like it would be that type of scenario to where it looks good. They didn't blink this past weekend. Like Penn State really gave it to them as much as they possibly could. James Franklin is a good coach too. Yeah. He can't get over the hump, and he's got in my opinion, he's got a hard decision to make too. Because where does he stand in the Big Ten? Like, yeah, you made it to it, and here's the way I see it, too. There will be teams that will adjust. You already seen Magic Johnson saying, I want to win. And he's, sparing no expense as it pertains to Michigan State. You know Michigan got the $12 million quarterback also. So what does James Franklin and Penn State do? Like, does he stay? From my understanding, like, he was actually one of the main guys that was supposed to go to Florida if Napier didn't turn it around. As it stands, the way I look at Penn State, they're like third or fourth in the Big Ten. But hell, I can say the same thing about the Vols in a sense.
Exactly.
It's how you fight yourself out and winning the big-time games. Franklin's a good coach, though.
He's got to get over the hump, though, that's for sure.
He does.
All right, well, we've been teasing you for the last hour. There it is.
We got the horn.
Special guest announcement on RKW happening this morning in the 9 o'clock hour. Ramon Foster, will you reveal our special guest?
I've seen people say Hulk Hogan. I've seen people say Mike Vrabel, Derrick Henry. Peyton Manning is coming in.
Okay.
Dr. Dyson, Eddie George, Mike Keefe, Brett Kern.
Whoa.
No, you're all wrong. The answer is in studio at 9 o'clock. He'll be in studio with us. Will be Ran Carthon.
Ran Carthon coming in studio. We're going to talk a little life, a little football.
The past week.
What it's been like in terms of a roller coaster.
Get a little ratchet, have some fun, ask some questions.
Interested
get his take on a lot of stuff, man. So it'll be interesting. It'll be in studio with us, so we get an opportunity to see his mug.
Yeah. I mean, look, we deliver here on the show.
Yeah, we told him we was going to try to effort that thing, man. We had some communication over this past weekend, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to hear from him, too. That's going to be an open conversation, Kayla. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Sure.
Looking forward to just having a convo, like you said, with him. And it's always, you hear one side. It's always good to hear the other side. I think that's the world I grew up in, journalism at least, is that. So appreciate you efforting to get him on the show, and it'll be fun.
It will. It'll be fun, man. I'm sure some going to love it, some going to hate it, but we just going to do the job how we see it fit anyway. Absolutely.
This is how you do the job, right? Well, we've got that to look forward to in the 9 o'clock hour. Ran Carthon live in studio. Until then, we have plenty of stuff to get to, including the Titans and their current general manager process. What's going on with the interviews? We'll recap some of that. Plus, I want to pick your brain on who you feel like would be the best fit. We got a list that have already interviewed, and what's the next step? We get into that next in hour 2 on RKW.
What's going on? 7 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Big news this morning, at least on our show anyway. Ran Carthon, former general manager of the Titans, will join the show in the 9 o'clock hour in studio. So if you missed that, make sure you check out wherever you download your podcast at or the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. We'll get it thrown up there after the show is over with. And last night, Commanders win their first postseason game since 2005, taking down the Buccaneers 23-20 after Zane Gonzalez kicked doinks in. Baker only missing 3 throws on the game, but a turnover inside the Bucs 20 after stopping the Commanders on 4th down changed the game. Commanders go to face the Lions at 7 p.m. on Saturday. New England Patriots have their new head coach in Mike Vrabel, releasing Gerard Mayo just 1 year after naming him the heir apparent. Mike Vrabel to New England always made sense after these comments were made in his induction ceremony into New England's Ring of Honor.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Still got a game tonight. Vikings and Rams kickoff is at 7 p.m. Winner will take on the Eagles next week in the divisional round. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome in to hour 2 of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. It is Monday. I always feel like saying, and we're going to act like it.
Yay.
Because I think Monday sometimes can be a drag. But we're here to lift you up this morning alongside our 11-year NFL veteran. We've got Ramon Foster. Yeah. We've got Robert Walsh, Burt behind the glass, making it all happen. Kayla Anderson in as well. Will Bowling off for the next couple of days. And man, guys, it's weird this time of the year. I look outside, it's 7 o'clock, and it's still just kind of dreary and dark, but the sun has technically come up.
Yeah, it is. I went outside just a second ago. By the way, when did they remove the awning outside?
Right before the snow.
Did they really?
Shoot, I didn't know that.
Because if it would have snowed on top of that, it was so old and dry rotted, it probably would have fell through. So new awning coming to the 104.5 The Zone studio.
Let's go. Did they take down the Christmas lights? I didn't check.
No, they're still up. I was just out there.
Yeah, they're still up, baby.
That's why I love Mike, our engineer. He is just as redneck as I am. You leave him up till February at the latest because you know that the night light at night, the nice glow they let off is nice. I like not stubbing my toes at night.
Those are classy. They're like blue and white. So it does go with this time of the year. You think snow, you think cold weather. I will make those lights happen. That's
now the
cool
Halloween lights in the rack room.
That's
they
different.
Probably got to go.
That's different.
It's probably pressing up on that time. I don't know. I'm tired of seeing them orange flickering lights in there.
By the way, he got your lighter up in the engineer's room. Whatever they
did you give them some?
Yeah, I gave everybody that works here one of them Burt's Bigs.
Look at you.
So apparently, I feel like that's like the engineer's refrigerator. Like if you get put up in the rack room window, like that's like you got an A+ in a test, and your mama just slapped that thing on the fridge.
Well, that sounds okay, but there's also like a voodoo doll in there.
No, that's a damn it doll. It's a damn it doll.
All I saw was a doll like you can put pins in.
I wonder who that really is, who they're trying to make it.
He said it's a damn it doll.
That's what you used to do back in the day. Like instead of when your kids really ticked you off, instead of going off and just hauling off and whooping your kids, you'd beat that damn it doll.
Exactly. Here's one in your knee.
That's a South Carolina thing, I think.
What in the knee, Kayla?
I mean,
come here, Jimmy.
Got a little Dan Campbell in me.
I gotta talk to your mama real soon.
Yeah, you do. Believe me, you'll find out things you never wanted to find out.
Mama Anderson, why was you hitting her in her knees? Kayla could have been a hooper, and you out here kneecapping her. Like, what's the figure skating girl name?
Oh, Nancy Kerrigan got kneecapped by Tanya Harding. I would have been the Tanya Harding in that.
You would have Tanya Harding. I got to talk to Mama
That's
Anderson.
neither here
man.
nor there.
Yeah, no doubt.
We got a great show for you. If you just heard, or if you're just joining us in the 7 o'clock hour, Ran Carthon is going to join the show in the 9 o'clock hour. Yes, he is going to be in studio. So that will be a conversation that will last a good chunk of time.
We got him for a whole hour.
Yeah.
So we'll visit a lot of things, man. Rand was open to it, actually willing to. And again, I don't think you're gonna hear him cuss out anybody or nothing like that. But you get an opportunity to, ask some questions about the last week and what's next, and guess. We'll see how many answers we get as well. So I don't want to overpromise anything.
And y'all be respectful while we got company. Nobody be sending nothing in, saying nothing ridiculous. Y'all be nice. We're bringing out the nice plates, the nice glasses, everything.
Because he still got a name around him, right, Bert?
Right, man. Come on.
Exactly. That'll
Put on your good jeans.
Put on your good jeans. Exactly. No holes in the jeans. So there is, though, a current GM search going on right here in Nashville. And the first round, which, by the way, we're all virtual, has been complete. And clearly, we've got certain people who are going to move on to this round coming up this next week. So they just finished out, like I said, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candidates that came in this weekend. And I didn't get to pick your brain this past week because we went over some of those candidates, Ramon, in terms of, just their background, what they could bring to the table. And I'm just curious for you, if you're familiar with any of these guys or gals in particular, and if there is a name that maybe sticks out to you.
It's 2 for me, and I think that's just where the Titans got to be more than anything. It's former Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff.
For sure.
Him and also Reggie McKenzie.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the 2 for me. And again, I'm not the one making decisions here. I know Chad Brinker has to make that decision moving forward, and everybody's got to be on board. But this is what this group need, in my opinion. Somebody with some experience, somebody with a steady mind, somebody with an understanding of what building a team looks like. Like, you got to also think Thomas Dimitroff with Atlanta set that team up to go to the Super Bowl. They found a quarterback out of Boston College. They got players in on both sides of the ball that made Atlanta very, very relevant, okay? So you got him and just the history and just steadiness of a guy like Reggie McKenzie. And my mom saying Vol himself. So
Knoxville native, too.
Yeah, from the state, NFL family, son and nephew. I forget which one Khalil is the son to, but have family members around the league, has been in some prestigious places himself, and you just got a sense of what the heck they doing types with those 2 dudes. That's where I'm at with the decision that's got to be made on this GM job. Like everybody else, I get it. Only issue that you have with Dimitroff is this. He also is in a position where he's just been a full GM. Like, what is him and Chad's relationship will be like as it pertains to power? Decisions got to be made. I know they're not using collaborations much over there anymore, but just like the teamwork of what the common goal is of all parties involved.
Right.
From my understanding, also, Reg McKenzie has also been in a place like Green Bay, so he understands how to maintain the steadiness of just being relevant, going after types of players that fit what you want it to look like on the field. Those 2 dudes to me are the guys I feel like should be far and above the rest of the group. And it sucks to say that. And again, it's not me making this decision, but I look at those 2 individuals right there and say, steady.
Yeah.
This has been a crazy 2025 for the Titans so far.
I mean, really,
the
past 3 years, right?
It has.
The off season.
No, seriously, the last 3, and I think finding guys that's been in it and understand how to build a team, how to. I heard one of Chad Brinker's comments. It was just not pulling the trigger and on guys that you feel like you gotta have, and sometimes just sitting back and waiting. Like, there will have to be some of that because it's just so, I don't want to say it's so unstable, but you only win 3 games over 17. You got a lot that needs to be revamped.
Yeah.
Whether that be coaching, whether that be personnel, whether that just be the entire structure of what you are as a franchise. Like, you got to bring in some veteran experience with that, and I think that's the move they got to have.
They have to find some stability. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing when you are interviewing these candidates is this is our message as the organization right now. Can you adapt to that message? Can you come in, though, also with your own, thoughts and you got to make it work together. It's we've preached, being on the same page and all of that. You can say that as much as you want, but it's really actually doing it and executing it that this franchise needs right now to happen. And so, like I said, there's a ton of interviews that have happened, and those will, move on to this next week as they'll narrow down this list. But it is a good list. I mean, there are a lot of names on here in terms of people with experience. And your two that you had mentioned, Thomas Dimitroff, who is the former Falcons GM, obviously the Dolphins senior personnel executive, Reggie McKenzie, that you spoke about just now. He was the first to be interviewed. The last to be interviewed that just finished up their interview on Sunday, Chiefs assistant GM Mike Borgonzi. And I know that there's been a lot of, excitement around that name too, probably because you come from an organization where really all they've done lately is win.
Yeah. But my thing is this on the Chiefs. I'm like, Mike Borgonzi may be good too, but here's what they have that nobody else has. They got a Patrick.
They've got a quarterback. You're exactly
right. It's easy
to
pick. I ain't going to say it's easy to pick players because nobody would have thought Xavier Worthy would be this important to them over in Kansas City, right? But it's a whole lot easier making picks and also having bad picks, right? Because nobody's talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, however you say his name.
Clyde
Edwards-Helaire, yeah. Nobody mentioned him like being a first-round bust in a sense, right? That's because,
forget about
we'll just go find Isaiah Pacheco because we got time to go find another running back. Like it's those things.
Good point.
Or taking a risk on a guy like Trey Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do that because
Where'd they get him again?
Sixth round. Yeah, sixth round. So there's that side of it too. Like I'm real hesitant now watching the way the NFL business goes to just go with what's successful. Like you got to go with what's going to work for you because Tennessee and Kansas City, two totally different franchises. And that's where you got to somewhat approach it. Like, he may have a great mind, but his mind is also on the contingency of, screw it, Patrick's there somewhere. He'll make it right. And that's what's been happening for him. Like, they got, like, no real premier wide receiver. They got a Hall of Fame tight end. They got a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver in D-Hop, right, that's making plays for them. But then they sprinkle in a bunch of tight ends and other skill guys. Like, it's not like they've picked great at wide receiver. They haven't, if we're being honest. So that's the reason I'm looking at the overly successful.
Defensively, I think they've picked well.
They have. But Chris Jones also makes it easy, too, right? So
you can't get too big on the names. Absolutely.
No,
it's all about
not.
It's all about overall the fit. And I know, some people, I had brought up Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham. We brought up his name last year. He was in the mix for some jobs as general manager. And some people were like, well, look at where he is. Like, you can't say that that's a good decision to bring him on because he's with the Bears. And what have the Bears done? First of all, the Bears have brought in good talent. The Bears have not been able to develop the talent. That's been the major issue with the Bears. And they've made some mistakes on the offensive line, of course. But he's also been in a place like the Ravens with Ozzie Newsome where he is learning in some of those places, Philadelphia, under really good traditional franchises. And I think that goes for something as well, not just where you currently are.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see who they pick. It has to be a steady person, though. It does. It's got to be somebody that know how to make hard decisions because, again, with the number one overall pick, too, like that, Kayla.
That's a biggie because you're either going to go up with that pick or you could go, if it is a bust, you could go down real quick.
I'm telling you. And then, of course, what are you negotiating on the back end of it if you do choose to move back? Like, you got to have guys that have been in those positions that understand this is a good deal, this isn't a bad deal. You never want to walk away and say, we got fleeced. And that's where, like I said, Kansas City ain't ever been in that situation as of late. So that's why I would pass on that one a little bit.
It is RKW. We are already reaching hour 2 here. And guess what? There's a head coach that you guys know here very well by the name of Mike Vrabel. It was announced yesterday and made official that he is the new head coach of the New England Patriots. But I'm curious, Moan, was this the plan all along? We'll get to that conversation and some interesting audio now that we look back. That's coming up next on RKW here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Is your heating system keeping up with the colder weather? Well, available 24/7, 365, the professional Lee Company team is here to help. And over the weekend, you probably learned again whether or not your heating system was ready for the blast of cold air we got here in Middle Tennessee. The Lee Company technicians will perform a 22-point inspection as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to keep your home running efficiently this winter. Even better, save $30 on your next heating tune-up visit today. That's $30 off on your home's next heating service. You got to contact Lee Company at 615-567-1000 or online at leecompany.com for an appointment to keep your home's heating in check. I love working with Lee Company, a local business that has been here in this community since 1944 with over 80 years of experience. Let them take care of your heating system this winter. 615-567-1000, online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need.
Oh, sorry. You heard me. I was like singing the intro music here. This is what happens sometimes behind the scenes. Welcome into a Monday edition of RKW. We're cruising along here in hour 2. If you're just joining the show, made the announcement at the end of the 6 o'clock hour. Ran Carthon will join us live in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. So looking forward to that. Meanwhile, there was some news yesterday that came out. I think a lot of people knew that this was coming, but it was made official. And I am interested to get your thoughts on it, Moan. I know a lot of fans chimed in this weekend after the news came out that Mike Vrabel has officially been hired as the new head coach of the New England Patriots. This is the Patriots' 16th head coach in its franchise history. Vrabel is now the 7th individual to become the head coach of a franchise he once helped win a Super Bowl as a player with, joining Gerard Mayo, Bart Starr, Forrest Gregg, Art Shell, Jeff Saturday, and Jason Garrett. So very fine company there.
It is very fine company, man. Fascinating way to go get the job.
To say the least.
Yeah, to say the least, right, Kayla? Fascinating way to go get the job. Here's the thing. Vrabel's worked his way up, man, from college. He was at Ohio State, and he worked his way to Houston, man, and got his job here in Tennessee. Looking at this situation, I'll speak personally for a second before I go into, like, you know, the formalities of everything happening, because I think Vrabel's supposed to be announced today.
That's what I had heard. Yes.
Yeah, he's supposed to be brought out to the media. It sucks on my end a little bit because one of my good friends was the coach there, Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, and I think we're going to play that audio of Vrabel somewhat soliciting himself to get that job, or at least speak about how much he loved New England, the Patriots, that is, too. And it just seems to me like, of course, I'll say, and it happens in all industries, as it pertains to, like, success and just being good. Like Jordan, love Jordan, dog. Kobe, an animal, right? Like you look at a guy like Shaq, an animal, right? All across the board. Like I tell anybody, like in order to be good and successful, you probably got a little dirt underneath your nails. Like you stepped on a few necks to get what you want. And it just seems to me that a guy like Gerard Mayo was used as a pawn in a game of craft to Vrabel. And I look at it in a sense that, okay, I think Robert Kraft initially had the right mindset of letting Gerard do his thing, wrote in his contract, which is crazy to me. I've never heard anybody writing in a contract that you're going to be the next guy. And again,
that's wild.
It was wild. Shout out to Kraft, or at least giving the guy an opportunity there, too. So wrote in his contract he was going to be the guy, and then the red jacket game happened. That's what I'm calling now. Vrabel goes up there like Suge Knight and basically said there's no other place. No other place like New England. Yeah, but I look at it still and say it's always going to be hard following a legacy. I think Kalen DeBoer is figuring that out right now, following up Nick Saban. There's, so many different coaches that go behind the legacy guy. Heck, I think one of the biggest things that happened was from Lane Kiffin to Derek Dooley after Fulmer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to live up to the prestige of the job. After those coaches in front of you had a whole lot of success. And it seems to me that Gerard was almost used as a pawn in the game to have a gap year between the newest coach that he eventually wanted. And that's why I have a little bit of an issue with. But again, Robert Kraft is a big B billionaire out here. Like, you've done a little bit of dirt to probably get to where you are. And I ain't saying like there's bodies buried and nothing like that, right? But what I'm saying is you got to be a little bit of cutthroat in it. And it just seems to me, again, I'm repeating myself in a sense, but it seems like Gerard was the gap coach between the coach that you actually wanted, because if Gerard goes in and does well, cool, we got our guy. But the idea that he was going to do good with that roster up there in 1 year, right?
One of the worst rosters in the NFL last
year. With a rookie quarterback. Yeah. And that was one of the main things that we talked about whenever we were on the phone with him. We talked mid-season a little bit. It's like, man, I got to get a roster. I need time. And that's where it's a little fishy to me. But again, don't ever meet your heroes is what I tell people sometimes. And don't ever think the people you see successful has done it in a very clean way. This was a little bit of dirty business to me. But Vrabel got time in the league. He's a coach that a lot of people love.
Sure. And
he looked like the face that New England wants up there.
Like I said, we'll get to that audio in just a minute from 2023 when he went up there to be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. It was interesting to see what, he said and look back at it now. And also, like, maybe taking a little bit of a swipe on the Titans too in some of the things that he said. But just a background, Mike Vrabel obviously playing for the Patriots from 2001 to 2008. He was a big part of the 3 Super Bowl championship teams. And then here in Tennessee, this was probably the best stretch that they've had in a long time when he was the coach from 2018 to 2023. He posted a 54-45 regular season record, 2-3 mark in the playoffs, and then obviously that AFC Championship game showing in 2019. He was also the Associated Press NFL Coach of the Year in 2021. But I am with you, Ramon. I do feel like this was kind of pre-planned.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that it was written into Gerard Mayo's contract because I don't think at first, maybe he thought Vrabel was going anywhere here.
Exactly.
And then
here.
I think when you go over there and you make that speech and you're starting to think, oh gosh, maybe there is something going on. I'm sure there's talks behind the scenes. But at that point, it looked to me or sounds to me like Gerard Mayo's contract was already written in that he was going to be the guy. And Robert Kraft kind of had to at least hold that end of the bargain up.
It was. Like you said, it was a lot to hold up on that end.
Yeah.
Right, Kayla? I see somebody in the chat was like, Ramon, are you serious you would take Gerard Mayo over Mike Vrabel? It's like, I'm not saying that.
No, but it was unfair, I think, of how it went down.
The biggest issue is this. Like, a guy that was in coaching, that you had on your staff, that you've treated like a son, that you've entrusted to run your franchise as a coach. Like, now, to me, the way they've painted him and the media and everybody else surrounding Gerard, like he's a joke. So let's say, here's the thing, too, to me, the why I say it's a little dirty. Like, I get it. Vrabel's probably a better coach than Gerard.
He has the experience as a head coach. I just read the resume,
yes,
right?
Absolutely. His resume is long as hell. My issue is this. Like, a guy that you say you love and you trust to run your team now gets looked at like he's a joke and he'll probably never get another job again.
Well,
that's
isn't that kind of the situation that's going on with what happened to Ran?
I mean,
in a way,
it'll be, yeah.
I mean, think about it.
It is, and so that's why that's why I say it's a little bit of a dirty game because he was laid out to be the coach in between the legacy coach, and now Vrabel gets an opportunity to walk in and be the hero.
Yeah,
I'm here to save you guys. That's my biggest issue with it is if you really respected Gerard the way you did, one, the people that are releasing these stories behind it, you probably try to pipe that down, but it's free speech. You can do whatever the heck you want to with that. It's just that I thought that there was a little bit of loyalty and respect in the game that you play, Robert Kraft, and that's not the case. Now Vrabel gets to be the knight in shining armor to come in and save New England Patriots franchise, all on the back of Gerard having a terrible season. Probably he wasn't ready, but even still.
That's not his fault. If you have a job opportunity presented to you, what are you going to turn it down?
Exactly.
Like, come on. Let's go to that audio from 2023 when Mike Vrabel returned to New England in his Hall of Fame speech.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Am I looking too far into this, or was that kind of like a backhanded situation there to his current employer at the time, which was the Titans?
My initial thought was, okay, like he's right. Patriots got away. They do. You can't deny that. And it just sounded like he was in love with his ex is what it sounded like more than anything. Like, boy, I missed you. Like
he went back and was like, man, I wish I could be back here.
I wish I could be back
with
here.
my ex.
And we can dissect this a million ways to one, right, as it pertains to how Vrabel went up there and just said that out loud. It was one of those things where when you were in a relationship with somebody, and he had a strong one at the time with the Tennessee Titans, you don't go bragging on the other chick over here. And that's where it sounded to me that was probably conversation held up in that box because he was sitting front row, I think, with Kraft in the suites and everything, and that entire fan base was loving on him. And I think at that point, also, Vrabel had already one-upped Belichick. So it was also like a smack in the face of Belichick, too. You remember how he played the mind games with him and the rules, everything on the sideline, or during the course of the game. It just plays, even if this isn't true, it just makes everything look like it was already in motion as soon as Vrabel left New England at that point. Yeah. I don't think he sabotaged the season and wanted to lose or anything like that. I think he coached his butt off here in Nashville. But he knew he also had a second home.
And that's the thing. If you kind of know, like, even he took a year off of coaching. Obviously, he was up there helping with the Browns and everything, but he wasn't a head coach. Just to know, like, you have the stability of, he was a hot commodity in this coaching cycle as well. And I think a lot of people said if he hadn't gotten this job, he was probably going to get another one. You guys think that the national media was crazy about Mike Vrabel before? Just wait now he's officially now in New England. I mean, this is going to be wild. By the way, his presser today, 11 a.m. Central Time, he will speak. I mean, you're going to just want to cover your ears because it's going to be all over all the time when it comes to now combining Vrabel and the national media's love for him and the Patriots. Like, whew. By the way, Teddy Bruschi, I heard him on NFL Countdown yesterday. I want your take on this. He says he does not paint the picture of Vrabel being like Bill Belichick per se. He says he's more of a Bill Parcells in the way that he can still speak with players and relate to players, but he does feel like he has got to collaborate more. And I hate to say that word, but that's the issue that we kind of saw here with Mike Vrabel was the collaboration part, maybe having too much power. How much so do you think he learned from his time here?
He would have to learn a lot. I do think this process was humbling. I'm not sure how serious he was about taking those head job interviews last year, right? Because he just kind of fell back a little bit the way it seemed. But I do think that is a facet of what he needs to have in his arsenal moving forward, though, Kayla, is, look, yes, you have a great plan as a coach, but you also got to understand that, like, you employ people to actually help you. Right. You employ people to actually guide their position groups, and they have great ideas, and it's not all about you, and not every player is going to be like you. We can talk very frank about it now. We had Wesley Woodyard on, right? Yeah. And he spoke strongly about how Vrabel was towards players. Like, and most people tell you, like, this day and time, like, if you're going to be that hard-nosed, in-your-face type of coach, then you better be very strategic in your pre-draft evaluation to understand what type of players you're getting. Because a lot of this fan base had a strong love for Deion, right? Deion Brown?
Deion Brown.
But Mike Vrabel, according to Wesley Woodyard, didn't.
Same with David Long Jr.
David Long Jr. And then there's a multitude of other guys that Vrabel would, like, drive into a corner mentally. And
Christian Fulton.
Christian Fulton was another that was how you have a guy that was, one of the top young corners in the league and just take a nosedive afterwards. But Vrabel has this strongman mentality that I'm gonna clock in every single day, and sometimes every player is not like you. Like Wesley Woodyard said, one of the things that Vrabel didn't like about Deion Brown, who's productive here, he didn't like the way he tackled. Yep. And Wesley's just like, well, he's getting them to the ground. He might not be running through them like Bill Goldberg on WCW, but he's getting them on the ground. Sure. He's efficient. He's a playmaker. He works side to side. And I think good coaches understand players are different. Players aren't like me. That's why I say I don't ever have aspirations of being like a coach, because I would coach you a certain type of way because that's the way I was.
That's the way you learned. Right.
And good coaches adapt. Good coaches figure out, hey, that guy right there might have just a pinch of softness in him.
Yep.
But he gets the rest of those dudes going. That guy right there might not be the best cover guy, but nobody really catches the big yards on him. And when it comes to the red zone, he locks them down. Yeah, he might have a soft tissue injury here and there, but boy, he's with us 80% of the time. And I got to deal with him over the course of the week. Like, those are the things I've seen good coaches do. Good coaches adapt to that because there's only so many good bodies that are in the NFL. We learned that this year. Mm-hmm. It's only you're dying to find the right tackle. It might just be, all right, let's figure out a different way to get this guy to tick. And that's why I think Vrabel going to New England has to figure that out.
I 100% agree. That's a great point, Ramon. And that's the thing. You're getting and you're inheriting a roster up there that is new. It is young, and there is not a plethora of talent. When he took over the job for Mike Mularkey, when he was hired here, the culture had been established. There were veteran players on this team, i.e. Wesley Woodyard and company, Jarrell Casey, Taylor Lewan, Derrick Henry. That's not the case up there in New England. No. So this is going to be a task and a challenge for Mike Vrabel. And I think this will be the time we'll really see if he's that good of a head coach.
And the other part, so I saw even some of the fans saying that too, because it felt like a slap in the face to them. There's a lot of people hurt behind the Vrabel. It is. And 2025 too, future opponents, home games. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they had the Patriots on this league. Okay, I was wrong on that one. They don't have the Patriots as it stands right now. But there's a lot of people hurt behind the Vrabel hiring and firing and him moving on and stuff like that. I'm very fascinated and to see how, to your point, Kayla, he picks up a team that's at the bottom. Because a lot of fan base was just like, we'll see what he does now with the team that's not an AFC playoff team. So, and also you run it into Buffalo. Miami still got their play caller down there. I mean, whatever the Jets decide to do, it's not really of a fuss right there. But it will be interesting to see if he can actually build up an organization to be sustainable, not just any organization. He mentioned it. New England's not like every other place. I want to see him be able to instill what he think New England is and the standard of what it is too by building through the draft, making sure he can make that young quarterback a dude and see if they can get back to the Tom Brady days, because that's what they're searching for. They've got a whole generation of fans since 2000 that has never felt what losing is up until recently.
Yeah.
And he was a part of that.
And they want to get away from that real quick.
And he was a part of that.
Yeah. There's standards there. Absolutely.
It is.
And he
100.
knows what that is. And that's the good part of it, right? He's won 3 Super Bowl championships. He knows what it takes.
Yeah.
But now he's got to actually be the one in charge of doing it.
Correction. Shout out to my guy. Patriots do come here next year.
Yes, they do.
Patriots do come to Nashville
they do.
next year.
Oh, I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. There's so many storylines in the NFL. That's why it's seriously the greatest league to cover, because the storylines are endless. Yeah. And the storylines are endless here on RKW. We are going to come back and wrap up hour 2 already. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk a little Tennessee basketball. They were able to rebound this past weekend, going back to Rick Barnes' old stomping grounds, taking on Texas. We'll get to some of that and much more as RKW continues here this morning on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Football. I want to tell you about my friends at Nolanville AutoMart. Hey, you got through the holiday season. If you are still looking for that new vehicle for a brand new car to your family, you can still give that gift to yourself, maybe to someone in your family. And with 62 years in the business, Nolanville Road AutoMart, these are the folks that I trust. They report to the credit bureau, so use your tax check and a down payment, and it's investment in yourself. They are family-owned and operated, and here's the best part. They are the bank. They can finance you even if you've got bad credit. It is the oldest and longest-standing buy here, pay here place in Nashville, if not one of the oldest dealerships in general. All clean titles on cars, not wrecked or rebuilt. All prices under $12,000 for fast payoff, and most terms are under 30 months. And when you go in and talk to these folks, you're going to be in and out within an hour. These are Nashville natives, locally owned, 2721 Nolansville Pike in Nashville. That is where you go to check these guys out. All prices under $12,000 for fast payoff and most terms under 30 months. Warranties included with every car. They'll show you a history report of where they purchased your car as well. Again, that's Nolansville AutoMart. Check them out, 2721 Nolansville Pike in Nashville.
Wrapping up hour 2 here on RKW. And is that really sun coming up? Do I see the sunshine peeking out of the clouds out there?
Need it.
Hopefully you guys are all safely getting to work this morning. We've got Ran Carthon coming up in the 9 o'clock hour in studio, so looking forward to that. If you can't listen to us, you can always go back and watch the podcast. Or if you want to watch us live in studio, you can always chime in on our YouTube F&M Bake chat. We are also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and Twitch. Busy morning this morning. We do want to change gears a little bit and talk some Tennessee hoops because after that whooping that Florida had on them, they needed a bounce back. And they were able to do that this past weekend, Ramon.
Yeah.
Taking on Rick Barnes' old team. They defeat Texas 74-70. Big Tex. Is that what you guys call them now?
No, they just Tex.
Are they just Tex? Because they can't be UT.
No, I can't. No, it's only one UT.
Let's make that clear.
Disrespectfully, I say that too. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it, Kayla. Absolutely
That's just
not.
what it is,
Walked
right?
in their trap and took over their trap, Kayla.
Exactly. And they did that for the most part. 15-1 on the season, 2-1 in the SEC. But it wasn't the usual Chaz Lanier show.
No.
It was, though, Darling Stone Dunbar, who really sparked Tennessee in this one. He scored 9 of his 12 points in the second half, really helping launch them to that victory. And Chaz Lanier was actually subbed out in this one 11 seconds into the second half. And Rick Barnes was like, I'm going to tell it how it is. You're there to score points. You're paid to come here to score points. And he wasn't doing it, so he yanked him.
He did, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Chaz is one, you got to love a coach like Coach Barnes.
I really
keep
do.
telling y'all, like, if y'all don't love the NBA game, college is where it's at. Because you got coaches like Rick Barnes out there that'll tell a player exactly what it is. Dog, we paying you to do this thing that you do. You know that thing that you do when you pull up and shoot over folks? I don't care about you missing. I'm not begging you to shoot the ball whenever I'm paying you whatever they're paying you to play basketball the way he is. It might sound harsh, but that's just the way the game goes. These coaches know now, like, it's transactional. They know it's transactional. And because of that, like, and he can get you to the promised land that you want. If you're trying to be Dalton Connect 2.0, Dalton shot it.
Exactly.
We're asking you to do these things, man, and I thought it was fair. I think it's a great teaching moment for a guy like Chaz Lanier. And I asked our guy, Ron Slay, about it. I was just like, Savage, what he gonna do? He gonna fight or flight? I said, he gonna fight. Yep. He gonna get it. And sometimes you need that. You got to think Chaz is coming from a smaller school to where it's probably all about teamwork. And Savage broke it down. I'm sure he's going to talk about it. So I don't want to steal his thunder. He's like, but these dudes are actually friends. They actually like each other. That team is put together a certain way, and these guys, mesh and gel together. So you don't want to feel like you ever one up in your guy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Chaz is dealing with right now. It's probably coming from a school to where they pass the ball around and he was somewhat the dude. And then you go to a bigger school and it's like, oh.
You got to be the dude.
You got to be the dude now. And I think it's a little bit of an adjustment to him, but one thing I feel like Coach Rick Barnes ain't going to do is beg you to do your job. And when it comes to you winning and competing, like, I truly do believe, like, as long as you're playing good defense, you ain't doing stupid things with the basketball, and you the green light guy, meaning you can shoot at any cause, he ain't got no problem with the misses. All right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he got too upset about what happened in Florida, and they got boat race down in Florida this past Tuesday night. So his thing was this, from my reading and understanding and hearing Coach Barnes after. We drew up a play for you. You were supposed to come off that screen and shoot it no matter what, and you didn't. Mm-hmm. Because you can't follow my instructions, come sit with me, because that's what people who sit on the bench do. They watch others play ball. Since you want to pass
Enjoy the view from the bench.
It was. I love that.
Oh, I'm all for it. Here's the exact quote. I'll read it to you. The play was designed for that shot. And I told him, I said, if you're not going to do what you're getting paid to do, you're going to sit over here, because he is getting paid to do that. That was Rick Barnes' quote to the media afterwards. Like, sign me up for that every single day. Old school mentality, yet able to adapt to the new game. Like, this is the teaching moments when you're in the SEC and the competition is heated every single game in the SEC. This is the type of coach you need.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But it also is this, too, for the people that have donated to NIL or the boosters that poured money into it. Like, you say what you want to. Those people want to see that product do good and also want to see that product be coached up, too. And that's what Coach Barnes is giving the folks. It's just like, okay, Like, your dollars are being spent well. And I think that was a great precedence for Chaz, the rest of the team, and any other big-time star that comes through the program, too. But all in all, it was a good game. I think it was smart of them to be able to pull him out and still win a game the way they did against Texas, because Texas is a good team. I still don't understand how they're 11-5 on the season. I don't get it, because they got to – listen to me. Ron told me about this a while back.
I was going to say, because you get the inside good stuff from Slay.
Savage told me, he was like, they got a freshman over there.
He calls it every time,
He
too.
does. He know basketball.
He said Tennessee was going to get beat by Florida.
Yeah.
He said that.
And then he also said that Tennessee was going to win this game against Texas.
Yeah.
So, Trey Johnson, the freshman, ice cold.
Yeah.
Just silky smooth the way he played basketball, man.
True talent.
And what was he from the weekend? He was 4 for 8 from 3-point, 11 for 17 from the field goal with 26 points on the game. They got a nice squad, but I do think from what Savage said, they got a couple of injuries here and there, and the Vols were able to pull it out. You mentioned the hero of the game to me. Well, one of the X factors, Darlington Stone Dubar.
First of all, by the way, I said Dunbar. I'm sorry about that. Dubar.
Sorry.
What a name, by the way.
Darlington
We should just call him Double D.
I wonder where that name comes from. It's got to be a family name. You don't get names like that,
No,
Kayla, unless
you
it's a
don't.
family
You don't.
name. Yeah, absolutely not. Like, so it was big on him, man. Zakai, he came off a screen. Zakai found him. He pulled up and silenced the crowd right after that. Yeah, they were speaking about him on SEC Now and said when you look at him in the transfer portal, like his efficiency of scoring was there the entire game. I mean, the entire year. It's not like he's a lump on a log. Like, this dude can play basketball, and it showed. I didn't realize he went 3 for 5 from 3, and we needed every single one
Every
of
one
them
of those,
too.
right?
Yeah, we did.
4 from 6 from the field. Like you said, 3 from 5 from 3-point land. Added 6 rebounds, by the way.
And Texas did a real good job, too, of stopping the paint for the most part. Like, Tennessee's been real big on that lob through the paint from Zakai, and Florida did a good job of shutting it down, too. So they're going to have to find something to pivot off of as it pertains to that. But, I mean, for the most part, everybody played their part. Jordan Gainey continually does what he do. If Chaz ain't going to be the guy, look who's calling. If Chaz not going to be the guy,
do you need to take that?
I will in a second. If Chaz ain't gonna be the guy, then you have a guy that can come in like Jordan Gainey, that can really get a spark for you. So
for you guys, Dunbar, the name comes from a Scottish background.
Oh, wow.
Which is, I'd rather be Dunbar than Dunlap. Have you guys heard about Dunlap? Where your belly Dunlap over your belt?
yeah, we'd heard
We
about
can
it.
always rely on you for some fun facts, Robert Walsh. He is our fun fact guru. It's making the show always fun. This morning on RKW, we're going to enter Hour 3. This morning is zooming by. Hour 3 coming up next. Let's dive into some college football talk, because we had a big game over the weekend with Ohio State and Tex. And Texas came close. They came close. They gave about as much they could give to Ohio State, but in the end fell short. Let's get into that. Plus, Dion Sanders coming to the NFL, possibly? Wow. We'll get into it. That's next on RKW here on 104.5 The Zone. Nashville is one of the best cities to live in, and plenty of option here when it comes to food, activities. But maybe you have too many options and you can't choose a real estate agent that you trust. I have the man for you. That is right. You need to check out my friend Bernie Gallerani. Bernie Gallerani has years of experience. He's also got a proven track record, and he's not going to let you down. In fact, Bernie guarantees to sell your home in just 30 days or less, or he's just going to buy it from you. Are you overwhelmed with the process of moving? Kayla was also in that boat, moving all the way from California. She connected with Bernie Gallerani Real Estate and couldn't have been happier with the experience. Even with her plans, they were shifting. The team was still patient about it, attentive and supportive in every step of the way. Now, she is just days away from closing her dream home here in Middle Tennessee. Bernie is the only real estate agent in Nashville recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. And he is the only agent I would trust to sell my home. So give Bernie a call. You can actually just call him on his cell phone. It's 615-428-2644. That's 615-428-2644. Or simply go to BernieGallerani.com.
What's going on? 8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Commanders get their first win of the postseason since 2005, taking down the Buccaneers 23-20 after a Zane Gonzalez kick doinks in for the win. Baker only missing 3 throws on the game, but a turnover inside the Bucs 20 after stopping Commanders on 4th down changed the game. Commanders go to face the Lions at 7 p.m. on Saturday. New England has their new head coach in Mike Vrabel, releasing Gerard Mayo just 1 year after naming him the heir apparent. Mike Vrabel to New England always made sense after he made these comments before being added to their Ring of Honor.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Still got a game tonight. Vikings and Rams. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Winner will take on the Eagles next week in the divisional round. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5. Ramon is still on a very important phone call. I'm going to stall for him. The Zone.
Welcome into hour 3 here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Getting you up this morning, getting you out the door and safely to wherever you're going. It's a Monday, and we're having fun this morning. It's not a gloomy day. The sun is out. We're ready to rock, and we've got almost the full crew with us today. Ramon Foster doing some business on the side there. We got Robert Walsh behind the glass making it all happen. I'm Kayla Anderson. Will Bowling out for the next couple of days. And, man, it's been a fun morning already, you guys. And I feel like I've been in this seat for 2 minutes, and we're in hour 3.
Yeah, no, it's going by quick, Kayla, as I'm continually getting texts, and I'm sure you are too, about the next hour. From my understanding, he'll be here in studio.
Ran Carthon, if you missed it.
Yep.
If you missed the announcement, Ran Carthon joined us live in studio for the entire 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah. When I saw I got some coffee in the next room, too, if you need a
Wait,
refill.
is there fresh coffee?
Yeah, it's fresh coffee.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Mine was a dragon over here. So
yeah,
that makes me happy.
That wagon, baby.
Yeah,
there we
dragging
go.
that wagon. Dragging that green goddess wagon, baby.
Yeah, the green goddess wagon for sure. But yeah, it has been a fast morning. A lot of hot topics this morning, from college coaches to Vrabel.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out in New England.
It's gonna be fun because they're here next year.
Sometimes going back to that old thing don't usually work out the way you want it to. But Vrabel took a gap year. We discussed it already, but I'll be watching that one, especially when he comes to Tennessee.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's also going to be a lot of fun, you guys, we've got a national championship that is set for Monday. That will happen in Atlanta. And it's going to be fun because we've got 2 really traditional programs that I don't think at the beginning of the year I necessarily saw Notre Dame being in that spot. I did, with the roster and the money they poured into Ohio State, saw that being the case if Ryan Day could actually carry out what he needed to carry out with the talent. But good for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. After that loss to Northern Illinois early on in the season, they've really righted the ship. And here we go. We've got Ohio State versus Notre Dame in the Natty, and I just hope it's some sort of a competitive game. But I think all eyes right now are on Ohio State as being a national championship favorite, because they just keep on taking care of business in the playoffs.
My early analysis of it is this: I don't know if there's a team playing more disciplined defense than Notre Dame, though. I think looking at last game where they had who the Ohio State, Texas had what's his name, Jeremiah Smith, basically 3 guys over him. I'm sure Notre Dame is going to end up having some of that, on top of having, they got to find somebody for Emeka Buka too. He was the guy that showed up in those first down moments, moving the chains moments.
You shut one down, you got the other.
And then you got another one. Had Carnell Tate, the young sophomore,
he led the receivers.
Yeah, he led the receivers going into the game. Another one of those studs, and he may still, I don't know if he'll end up being a first rounder, but he's a high first, second round guy type of dude. So
that's what Terry McLaurin's role was when I covered that national championship team. He was a third wide receiver at best there. Jeez. Look at what Terry McLaurin's done in his career.
Scary Terry was scary last night.
Yes, he was.
Yes, the heck he was. Him and Jaden Daniels, boy. But yeah, they got so many different weapons. On top of that, too, Travion Henderson and also Quinshon Judkins in the run game, they're elite. What I will say, though, Riley Leonard, seeing this defense that he's going to have to go up against Ohio State, that's where it's going to be fascinating to see what they choose to do with him, because he's been a little bit of a runner. And I'm interested to see if he continue to do that against a team like Ohio State, because they got some trench monsters up front. They got some guys that can get to the quarterback and they can push you around. They are as solid as almost anybody. Jack Sawyer off edge.
Can we talk about that storyline?
Go ahead, Kayla.
Moan, Jack Sawyer was Ryan Day's first ever recruit, right? Columbus kid, born and raised, and had that moment at the end of the game where he was able to really score in his former roommate in Quinn Ewers, because remember, Quinn Ewers was at Ohio State. Returned that fumble for 83 yards and the game-winning touchdown that gave him the 28-14 victory. The storyline with that, your former teammate, he's like, sorry, dude, just business. Takes it to the house. That was incredible. I am here for it.
That was funny. I won't front. That was actually pretty good right there, man. It was cool watching him run down the field like that to that boy and hitch that wagon the way he did.
Yeah, he's not a small guy by any means, okay?
He wasn't, but they had been working those tackles all game long, getting to him, beating him around the edge. And as you said, Jack Sawyer is one of those types, man, that can create splash for him. I don't know what his draft status is right now. I hadn't dove that deep into it.
We've got someone in the chat, I think, let's see here. Andre Bunting says, Sawyer has been on my radar for the Titans. I don't know if he'll be there in the second anymore. I don't know where he'll go.
I think it's, I ain't going to say I think he'll still be in the second round, because I don't know what his measurables are going to be, his quick twitch. A lot of people are going to knock him for.
But he's a player.
Here's the thing about the combine. The combine ain't there in Indianapolis to let you praise somebody. It's how much we can knock you.
It's the opposite.
Oh, yeah. It's how much we can knock you. So I'm interested to see what his 40 is going to look like. Injuries, of course, and they'll do all the little small small drills and stuff like that. That's where, though, he is a playmaker type. He can get to the quarterback. He proved that he could. And Caleb Downs, they check every single box defensively. And that's where I'm wondering, what is Notre Dame going to do to be able to go down the field?
Yeah, because their offense is the thing you look at that just it's not sticking out to you on paper, right? It's not an offense that's just churning like Ohio State's has for the most part. They don't have as much talent on that side of the ball.
Right.
But we always know in these games where defenses come to play ball that it could be a low-scoring type of situation if they can figure out how to shut down the Buckeyes' offense. By the way, this is Notre Dame's aim for the first time at a national championship since 1988. That's their last title. Obviously, Ohio State, their last one coming in 2014. I found this really interesting, you guys. They won the first ever college football playoff. That's the one I covered against Oregon.
The new trophy.
Exactly. Yep. Now they could win the first ever expanded college football playoff national title, which is kind of wild.
Look like they're on the way. So Ohio State's due every 10 years?
That's what it's been about 10 years. That's wild.
That's crazy real quick. What Alabama has done is an anomaly.
It's nuts.
That's not normal. Mm-hmm. You got a prestigious school like Ohio State who's 10 years removed. And Notre Dame is how far, Kelly? You said since 88?
1988.
1988.
Some of y'all weren't even born.
No, seriously. Seriously. We are we put a lot of pressure on coaches to perform and put a product out there that we say, hey, this is a national championship type team. Mm-hmm. It's been 10 years for Ohio State, even longer for Notre Dame. Being in the show, I know Vols fans are very upset about how they got boat raced up out of the college football playoffs, but it's hard winning championships.
Real hard.
If you tell me, a really good school gets one every 10 years. Think about how long it's about to be for Clemson at this point, too. Clemson.
They're going on around that.
Exactly. So it really chimes up to when the iron is hot, you got to strike then. 100%.
You absolutely do.
I just didn't think it was that
Nick
long.
Saban made it look easy. I think that's the thing we look at it now, and it's okay, there hasn't been an SEC team in the last 2 years in the national championship, and everyone's okay, well, the SEC's down. I don't necessarily think that's true. I just think the competition has risen. Yeah. And it's harder to win now.
Yeah.
And just saying, well, it's the SEC, it's Nick Saban.
No, and the other part of it though too is what we said. It's the money aspect of it.
Yeah.
When you start throwing dollars around and you can get a kid coming from Arizona to South Bend, Indiana, or Ohio State, who's got one of the biggest alumni in the entire world, right, or entire nation, can just pour in $1 at a time to get the players that you want. Like, I know a lot of people mention that $20 million roster, but they also got a lot of retained guys there too. They've had a lot of retention and repeat. Like, they got upperclassmen on their team. Offensively, they spent money there.
They did.
Right? Because you don't get Jeremiah Smith for cheap.
And Quinshon Judkins.
No, you don't get them
stealing
for cheap.
from Ole Miss.
But those types of players would have probably have gone to Alabama, would have probably have gone to Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're running into as it pertains to the players that they're able to get and the way the money's been spread. And again, I think the biggest issue that the SEC has had on its hands, to me, and I've said this one or two other times, the SEC is, in my opinion, is getting out coached. I don't know if there's a Marcus Freeman.
That's interesting.
I don't know if there's
because we don't usually say that.
No, I don't know if there's a staff that has a Chip Kelly on it. Think about what we're talking about here. Like, I don't know if that's the case. I think the SEC is getting out coached more than anything, and there has to be some in-house evaluation about, all right, either discipline, the type of athletes you're getting, or the people you're employing as your DC and OCs. Defensive coordinator.
That's a big part of it that I think we overlook sometimes, because you look at the head coach and you say, "Oh, that's the end all be all," right?
But that's
not. You're exactly right.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say with Tennessee's offense this year, even
there has to be some changes being made there. Or let's go even further. Then let's go a step back. Then, if that's the case, let's think about the greatest coach of them all, Nick Saban. He had to tap into Lane Kiffin. That's where being a smart person. Coach, understanding of changing of times,
adapting. You
got to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Ryan Day made the smartest decision ever when Chip Kelly decided he didn't want to be a head coach no more. Who was it? Auburn's old coach is going to be an offensive coordinator too.
Which one? Brian Harsin?
Is it Chiswick? No. Which
Gene
one
Chiswick? Sorry, there's so many that Auburn's gone through. I'm not trying to take a hit at y'all, but it's really true.
But yeah, that is the case though. You got to be able to find a guy that's going to run your team. I think now in college, like an NFL squad. Chip Kelly is doing that. He was a master class. I think this all this playoffs right now. And he'll adjust. We'll see what Notre Dame can present to him. It's one of the more exciting. Gus Malzahn. Yes, he's the other one. They're quitting head coaching jobs to become OCs and DCs.
And sometimes that's just easier in this day and age.
It
right?
is. You alleviate the headache in that point.
Absolutely. It is RKW here on this Monday morning. When we return, Dion Sanders made it clear he was interested in a current NFL head coaching vacancy. But does that team want him? A little bit of he said, she said this morning. We'll get into it on RKW here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it is Kayla Anderson, and it is the new year. That means maybe we've got some new goals for ourselves, and maybe that includes improving your hairline. I know I have been on my hair growth journey for a while now, and I'm going to continue that here in 2025 because so far, great results, as our teammate here at 104.5, Ron Slay, has received from WeGrowHair.com. So if you're interested in really going on your hair growth journey, make sure to check out our friends at WeGrowHair.com. Listen, they've got everything they can offer in terms of if you're looking for a full head of hair, they've got their a transplant procedure that's going to give you 3 times more hair in just one procedure. They also have their PRP, platelet-rich plasma treatments, and their FDA-approved laser therapy. Those are 2 things that I have incorporated and had great results with. For almost 30 years, We Grow Hair has been Nashville's hair restoration premier medical clinic. So don't wait. Make sure to go to WeGrowHair.com and schedule a free evaluation today. All you got to do is give them a call, 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010. Or just go to WeGrowHair.com and tell them Kayla sent you. Welcome back into RKW on this Monday morning. Talking a little college football today. The sun is out. It is a new week. We're going to start it off right.
Bert playing my little demon back there, man.
Right?
What's going
My
on?
little demon.
Bert's always going to
What you mean?
What you mean?
put in some of the hits.
Golly, Bert, little future this morning.
Well, we can't like spin a lot of the hits now because Ramon and I would always sing to them, and I guess that was not tolerated. Like that was a no-no.
Well, you know why I had to play Future today? You know, I had to play a little Future for my man Sussy Russie out there. You saw one of my favorite Baltimore podcasters got to ask him before he's going around the whole stadium signing autographs for the little kids. Hey, Russell, what's your favorite Future song?
You should have asked him who's his son's favorite dad.
Yeah. Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Hey, Future, I'm the father now.
Exactly. Right?
Hey, training that young man up to be a quarterback out here. Future out here making songs called My Little Demon, and I'm here for both of them.
Well, speaking of fathers,
yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Oh, look at Kyla with the sack.
Where's that daggum air horn? Where's that daggum air horn? That's what I'm talking about.
Look at my girl. Oh,
You know, sometimes it just comes to me.
yeah.
Dion Sanders obviously spoke about how if he could coach his two sons, he would think about going to the NFL and being a head coach. And one of those teams was the Las Vegas Raiders. We all know they're in the mix. Now, they'd have to do some business to trade up and possibly get Shedeur Sanders, but this was interesting when he said he had strong interest in the Raiders. However, the latest report from The Athletic came out and said they have no interest in Coach Prime. That was, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Deshaun Reed. He is of The Athletic.
Okay.
He said that on Sundays that they won't be going after Deion Sanders. He said there's been some buzz about the University of Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, but the Raiders have, quote, zero interest in hiring him, according to a league source. Agents using the stubbornly quiet Raiders for leverage goes back as far as the franchise losing. Whoa, burn right there.
That's tough.
So is this at all something that we could think could happen in terms of Deion?
I do. I didn't at first because I didn't know if Deion had the interest in it.
Yeah.
The Raiders are also supposed to say that publicly, too. They got zero interest in hiring him just off the basis that they got to do a thorough coaching search. Yeah, they got to. It's just like knowing sometimes it's almost like the Rooney Rule. Like when I saw Byron Leftwich get an interview with the Patriots, I was just like, come on, y'all. Like, what are we doing here? That rule needs to be tweaked. I'll be one of the first ones to say it. I'm not the first one to say it, but that rule does need to be tweaked on the Rooney Rule because all you know they were doing was going through Byron Leftwich to get to Mike Vrabel, and it happened. Deion Sanders is the same situation to me. They got a new stadium. Deion's proven that he could, put a staff together. He did that, did well in the Big 12 to a point. Right? Nobody expected Arizona State to come out and just be lights out the way they were. He turned the program all the way around in Colorado. I didn't know how prestigious they were in the late 90s. I didn't pay attention to Colorado
It was
like
big.
that. And for him to get them back on the map, he's got so many celebrities, people going to games that never gone to him before. I know they've probably seen the biggest migration of black people to Boulder, Colorado that they've ever seen in their life. But that's college. And the NFL is a little bit different. He has Coach Shedeur and Shiloh all the way up. He started a charter school, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that school play in Knoxville against Knox Catholic. He went from there to got the Jackson State job. Did well there. He goes from there to Buffalo. Revamps the entire program. Got 5 stars secretly committing on national TV and stuff like that. I think he stole another 5-star from USC. The man got the ability to recruit. But here's the thing. These are young men that look up to him out of high school or even in college in the portal level. It's a little bit different going to the NFL. My thing is, again, son coaching your dad coaching your son in the NFL may hit a little bit different. Like that pressure, threw an S on there for no reason. That pressure is just a little bit different.
It's
I know.
that level, right?
It's just a little bit different. You got to deal with like real CEOs and people and the standard to win with the Vegas Raiders right now is high. But I'll tell you this, it's the best possible news the Tennessee Titans could hear.
Well, absolutely, because you'd have a trading partner.
You got an immediate
hands down,
trade partner.
and you'd probably get what you needed to get out of that. Because that's the whole thing with the Titans trading down, and I know a lot of people want that to happen so that you can keep collecting, draft picks, and also next year have that number 1 pick as well, and maybe go get your quarterback then. But you have to have a trade partner first and foremost, and you have to have a trade partner that's willing to give you those things that you want. Because if you can't get the most out of it, then you might as well just go get one of these, top 5 picks.
Oh, no doubt about it. And that's the other part, too, why the Raiders probably got to come out and say no. Because why would Deion want the job in Las Vegas? Well, it's because his son. Why?
Absolutely.
Because his son's projected first-round pick.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, like, if the Raiders do hire Deion, negotiating's out the window. It handcuffs them so bad that where the Titans having the number 1 pick, they can just dog them out. Like, look, I need a first this year. I need your, what are they, 4th, I think, in the draft cycle right now? Give me that one. I need one next year.
Someone said Max Crosby. Send over Max Crosby.
Easily.
Need a pass rusher.
If you don't want to give me next year's one, give me Max Crosby.
Yeah.
I need a 3 this year because the Titans don't have a 3rd-round pick this year. And I probably need a couple of more things, too. Like, so they're handcuffed if he says, if the Raiders come out and say, yeah, we want to. Because here's the thing. If they don't want to negotiate, I'll just pick Shador.
Yeah.
That's just what they are right now. I'll just pick Shador. That's all we got to work on. So the Raiders are smart in saying they have no interest, but I guarantee there's at least a phone call being made to a guy that now has real coaching experience. Now, the level of what he's doing, can he command guys the way he wants to? I don't know, because he's come out in previous times saying it's hard motivating millionaires. Like, can he do the Deion thing in Las Vegas? I think me as a player, I love to, be around him. Like, being coached by a guy I admired, though, may be a different situation because you can't – I expect you not to yell at me the way I admire you in that sense, So we'll see.
It would be different, but nowadays, too, it is a different generation in terms of playing the game at the NFL level, right?
Yeah.
So it is younger, especially a team like that is trying to rebuild. There are younger players. They are – college, kind of straight, more out of college, a couple years out of college, that I think maybe understand where Deion comes from, how he coaches, how he continues to develop. And I think that's a reason why it might work for him in this day and age in the NFL, because there are so many more younger players that think of it in a different way. Plus, he is a businessman. If you think of it, when it comes down to it, Dion Sanders has built his own brand his entire career. He understands the business about, what goes around in the NFL. Yeah, there will be new parts to it, and it is a different type of business. But I almost am intrigued a little bit about it now.
I am, too. And
not saying that this will happen.
No, not saying it, but it's great for the Titans if it does, though. And the other side of it, though, too, is Deion. I think he's been able to separate himself on him being as elite as he is. And I can say Deion is elite because he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. He's always been that guy. And I think going to the high school rank, to the college rank has let him see there's different variations of talent. Sure. There are different ways to win football games. But I think he understands what he needs as what he needs for a team and what he has to do now to motivate guys. Because here's the other thing, too. You had Shador driving Rolls Royces on campus. You had Jordan Seaton and Maybachs, right? These dudes have been icy. They've been getting paid. So he understands how to motivate, I feel like now, a little bit better. I see my guy Curtis in the YouTube chat said, well, we don't want Max Crosby. He's 30. I'm hesitant to throw age out there anymore.
I am too.
It's because watching Derek doing what he's doing and all these other guys, Trent Williams is another one that's killing it in his mid-30s too. I think we as a fan of the NFL.
What's Chris Jones' age?
Chris Jones may be up. Chris Jones might be right at 30.
I feel like he's right at 32. Sorry to throw you on the spot at that.
And Von Miller's another one too. Chris Jones. He was born in 94, so that makes Chris Jones 30. He's right at 30
he's 30
also.
years old.
So, and be 31 this year.
Yeah.
So what we got to realize too, I think the running backs have shown us this in the NFL. These guys aren't the 1980s players anymore, or even the 90s. Where you smoke cigarettes, you know what I'm saying, and just
whatever the helmet was back then. Yeah, right?
Burn both ends of the candle. You don't get that player as much anymore. Do guys go out and party? Yes. Do guys go out and have a great time? Are there some degenerates in the NFL? Sure. Yes. But the ones that are good in his league, and I think Max Crosby, one of those types of guys, and he's also dealt
He
with
actually turned his life around.
That's what I was going to say. He's
Yeah.
dealt with sobriety. So you know, like, health is a part of his equation. Like, how much can he help his body without putting alcohol or drugs in and stuff like that? So you would take a Max Crosby is what I'm telling you. Definitely. You would absolutely take a Max Crosby at 30
Especially when
years
you
old.
need help in the pass rush, and there's so many spots to fill. It doesn't say that you can't go get another one, right?
Exactly. Yeah, seriously.
You need depth in any way possible. The Raiders, by the way, have right now 6 known head coaching candidates. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, hot name obviously, as well as Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken, and former Jets head coach Robert Saleh, along with former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll, which is interesting to me too. There's a lot of young up-and-coming names in this, and then you've got Pete Carroll, who is, if he came back, by far again the oldest head coach in the NFL. He was when he left the Seahawks and, decided to take a break.
Yeah.
I in this way look at Pete Carroll and I'm like, I think stay retired or go into in terms of a different, assistant job or something. Right. I just don't see him at this point as a head coach, but that's just my thoughts.
His biggest, I guess, bonus to the Chicago job that's out there, you're saying? The biggest bonus is this. He's got a young guy that was probably like a young Russell Wilson. Mobile quarterback, shorter in stature, and with Caleb Williams, that he probably feels like that recipe can be duplicated. Mm-hmm. But I think that job is probably one of the tougher ones to get because you got him, Ron Rivera, another multitude of players, man, that are, I actually like that job. I like the Chicago job.
For the Chicago Bears.
Now, can ownership get out of the way?
Right?
It's got a ton of talent. And that's a fan base and team that's willing to do anything to win, it seems. By the way, Max Crosby's 28. Curtis, you can no longer give facts in the chat. Yeah, Zach Lyons, our teammate, corrected him on that. He's younger than Chris Jones.
I was like, wait a second, because we were saying how old Chris Jones was. Yeah, I was like, I don't think Max is. Thank you, Zach Lyons.
Curtis, you're on timeout.
Dang, Curtis. He's just a Max Crosby hater, isn't he?
Back to the original point, I would take that. I like the Chicago job. I do. I think it's something there for Caleb. You got to find the right OC for the job to be able to craft an offense for him. But the defense ain't bad. It's got some good bones about it. They're probably a good head coach stabilizing the team away with a real good offensive coordinator. That Chicago job's a good job to have.
So would you then, if you're Chicago, go and hire more of a defensive-minded head coach like what they did in Washington and put the focus on going and find that real genius offensive coordinator mind? Because that's what's difficult, too, sometimes. They're not just floating around out there. They're not just growing on trees.
They're not. It's fascinating with that job. Brian Flores comes to mind initially. Ron Rivera comes to mind.
Yeah.
I can understand Pete Carroll being a guy because he's ran this type of player.
If he's supported with the staff.
With the staff. Yeah. It has to matter. And it's got to be a mature staff, too, to deal with some of that young talent that they have over there, too. So I see Riverboat Ron or Brian Flores being the type because the defense is going to have to come first considering what you're up against in Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. You got to fight power with power, fire with fire if that's the case, though, too, because it's not like you're walking into that job and it's just the AFC East or, respectfully, the AFC South for that matter. You're actually going up against 3 really good teams. Yeah. Detroit, number 1 seed. Green Bay just got knocked out. And Minnesota plays tonight. There's, right now, Bert, I hate to say it, I don't know if there's a better division. They might be
giving you a run for your money, you guys.
I will brag on the AFC North.
Yeah.
I think the NFC North got us right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with second place.
Well, you say that. Why'd you say it like that?
Well, let's just see who sticks around longer. You know what I mean? I ain't got no problem toting the flag.
Is that a little jab?
I ain't got no problem. But yeah, it's all right. Second place, all right.
It is. It's a little jab. I'm cool with it, though. I get it. Hey, to the victor goes the spoils. Bert can talk all he wants to now. But I'll tell you this. Got a memory like an elephant over here.
Got a body like one, too.
I'm working on it. One of us went to the gym this morning. The other one didn't.
Don't listen to my pachyderm-looking ass. I look like a daggum elephant, too. That was mean. I don't know where that came from. That was not nice.
Your mama called me last night.
Something else about an elephant. Kayla, take it away.
Yeah, I don't know where to take this at this point. We're talking about elephants. Is this the Crimson Tide? What are we doing here? No, but before we go and wrap up hour one here, I did want to say just
Hour
in terms
three, Kayla, it's been that quick.
Sorry, y'all. It is Monday, but hour three. Thank you for correcting me on that. I did want to just wrap it up by saying, look, I don't think Dion Sanders goes anywhere. I think he'll stay in Colorado. I think he has a real shot in the Big 12 specifically, guys, of getting his program to an elite level where he can make it to the playoffs next year. I think that he has proven he can develop talent and that he has all the fanfare behind it. I think there's all the recipe there in the making to be a top team in college football. So I don't know if you give that up if you just go to the NFL. I mean, I guess if he can coach his son, but I think that's the only way it happens.
Yeah, and I think he's just got a lot left to do in Colorado. Now, what other opportunities do you get to be able to coach your son in year one? Who's to say that the new coach of the Las Vegas Raiders is the guy? Like, Deion can wait this thing out and pull a Mike Vrabel. He can do that. But I do think as high as they're picking and what they're looking to get out of if they are going for Shador, I don't know if Deion's going to be the dude. Like, I believe in him. I'm a Deion fan. In my double wide trailer in Henning, Tennessee, that was
a big old poster.
That was a big old poster outside of me and my brother's room. Deion Sanders on it. My brother had the primetime turfs, like shoes and everything. I'm a huge Deion fan, but I just don't know if he really is that ready. But who's ever ready? It's just
who's
like
ever ready?
It's like having kids.
And this day,
nobody's ever
you're
known
exactly
what's going
right.
on.
And in this day and age, nothing surprises me in the world of sports. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely not. But if he do get that job, Titans, y'all got leverage like hell.
Exactly. That's not a bad thing. When we wrap up hour three, we'll get to Bam. He is on the phone lines, and we're getting closer to the announcement we made earlier in the show. Ran Carthon going to be live in studio for the entire 9 o'clock hour, so you don't want to miss that. We'll get to Bam and much more. We'll get to a tweet that was liked by a certain Tennessee Titan, too. Could he be on the move? Whoa, we'll get into it. That's next, coming up here on RKW 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back into RK wrapping up hour 3 here on the show, cruising into hour 4. Speaking of cruising in his big old truck in Cleveland, Bam's on the line.
No, Bam's here in the city.
Oh no, Bam's here in the city. I'm all out of sorts.
Now
Bam,
Mike
maybe you are driving a truck. I don't know, Bam.
Now Mike gonna call in mad.
Mike's gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah, he gonna be
Bam,
pissed.
I'm sorry. I had a brain fart for a second.
Kayla, you good. Kayla, go here.
Wait, what?
When did Bam become a damn truck driver?
No, hey, look, I did that for Mike. I did that for my boy Mike. So first off, shout out to my boy Big Mike in Cleveland. Shout out to my boy Brian, Haley, Scoob, Caples, the fam. What up, Ramon? Happy belated, my guy.
Man.
Hey, bro, I tried to buy you some cheese sticks last week, but you had already dipped out on me. You know what I'm saying?
I did. Hey, man, listen, your boy needed a break after the season, so I was like, might as well turn it into a 5-day break.
You might as well. Hey, now you're back being our therapist. Welcome back, my boy. Welcome back to the phone. Here we go. Let's get into it.
I went to school for sociology. You hear me? I didn't know therapist was a part of my job description now, but I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So I didn't want to. Y'all was getting ready to go into what I actually called about. You know, the certain tweet.
Yes.
Now that Braves is over there, are we about to see? You know how they said in the Temptations, you about to see more ex-Temptations than Temptations. So are we about to see more ex-Titans, like with Nick Westbrook, Akine, Jeffrey Simmons? What's the deal? Like, listen, us Titans fans, we've already had enough stress, trauma, disappointment. I mean, we just can't take no more, man. There's got to be something good turning around. Right now, we don't know who the daddy is right now. We wait on the DNA test to come back to see who we going to be this season. It's just like, man, I can't take no more, Ramon.
Yeah,
like, what do we do?
you.
Do we just sit here and just be patient fans? Do we sit here and sing Kumbaya? Like, we have nothing to hold on to. What we had to hold on to, which was Mike Keith, he's gone.
That's
so
true.
we don't know what to hold on to right now, besides the fact that we love this team, we ride or dies, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But even that, after a while, that kind of get like, all right, man, you got to show me something. Boy, you know how much money I spent last year on flights and hotel rooms and being everywhere?
Oh, yeah, you're
you know
dedicated, Bam.
My point, exactly, which is why I'm saying, like, show me why I need to continue to be dedicated.
Man,
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
like, you know, I mean, maybe I'm just venting to the walls, but, you know.
I hear it. I hear it.
No,
I hear you,
you're
Bam.
good, Bam. I mean, real talk for sure.
So
And
Bam's
by
alluding to the tweet.
Yeah, the tweet that Dom, just a fan, obviously, tweeted out the other day, Jeffrey Simmons, come on down, #Patriots. He said, we need to start the Mike Vrabel trading for Jeffrey Simmons, and it was liked by Jeffrey Simmons.
Hey, before you got to wonder, though, who the pappy is,
Yeah.
I'm the pappy. You ain't got to worry who the daddy is. You ain't got to worry who the daddy is.
You know who the daddy is?
Who's that?
I was asking you. I thought you knew who the daddy was.
That's me.
That's what I
me.
thought, too.
Oh, you the pappy.
Oh,
Okay.
leave that up to-
boss.
I'm the daddy of that young boss.
I'm the daddy of that youngin'. Oh, with that being said, though, Kayla, you said Jeffrey liked the
Yeah,
tweet.
because he screenshotted it.
He screenshotted it. A
Yeah.
fan caught Jeff lacking is what happened. Here's the thing. Would you blame him? Who, at this point, you're going to be clearly going through a rebuild of some sort. Jeff's about to go into year 7, which is where guys start to hit their prime. Guys start to figure out how to be a pro. There is no more questions on what I do on a week-to-week basis, my level of play. You understand all of those things. Can you convince him or pay him enough to stay here is the next question. That's if, and again, here's the other side of it too. These players have camps. These players have confidence that they trust and believe in too. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to watch yourself go through a spot to where losing's in front of you. So if you are Jeff and you out here liking tweets, like we've seen others do it for less, right? I saw a guy in Antonio Brown do it, and then go to a place in Oakland at the time with the Raiders, knew it was going to be bad, and burnt his feet off. And eventually ended up with Tom Brady and got a Super Bowl out of it. And that was about the same years that he was in, years 7, 8, 9. So it's business at a certain point, too.
Yeah.
Like, teams get off easy with this type of stuff. Like, if there's dysfunction and you got some issues, like players, I will always say, it is a players-led league. The owners control it, But the players are the product that make it is what it is. And if you got a guy like him to have options, and clearly he going to have them, what would you do in that situation?
I mean, he's been the steady.
I might ask somebody about that.
He's been the steady leader in this team through all the shakeups that have happened. He has to go out there every single Sunday, every single week during the locker room. And look, he's a player and he's a leader. He's supposed to do that. But he's been really the main representative. And at times, I'm like, what else did he have to say? Like, he can only say how much. Like, you keep repeating the same things over and over, and you keep on putting your body on the line. Damn, he was playing with both his elbows taped up at the end of the year just to go out and prove that he wants to win.
Yeah.
And at some point, if that's not being received by the organization in terms of improvement and improving the roster around you, like, I would want to go on and move somewhere else too and go try my chances somewhere else.
Yeah, the guy, Myles Garrett, who's a walking gold jacket right now, who's basically expressed the exact same thing to Cleveland. Like, again, these guys talk. These guys know how much power and flex they have too. Like, and losing sucks. Like, I know people, well, you getting paid. No. Like, the pay they had, like, is cool in retirement in the offseason when you go to Cabo, like the Steelers did, because the Ravens are some trash. There's that right there. But in the moment, losing is hard. It's hard on your family. It's hard on you, everybody around you. Mm-hmm. So to know that, like, brighter days may not be close and you got so many reps left on your body too.
That's a biggie, too, with him specifically,
I'd like the tweet, too.
Yeah.
I'm be honest with you. Like, I get it. That's all you can say at that point is I get it.
It is RKW. We're going to wrap up hour 4 here just a little early. And like we said, if you've just joined the show or if you've been under a rock this morning, remove that rock. We've got Ran Carthon in studio live to start the 9 o'clock hour and to finish it. That is coming up next on RKW. You don't want to miss it here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Is your heating system keeping up with the colder weather? Well, available 24/7, 365. The professional league company team
It's Ramon Foster Hiller, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. Y'all, Hiller has been around and in business since 1990, man, and they are family owned and operated. Hear me out right here. Jimmy Hiller was recently named the most admired CEO, one of the most admired CEO, because the way he truly cares for his team and his clients. It's that simple. Hiller also has a true transparency pricing. It's this, y'all. Look, they take care of you on every single job that they do every single time, and they stand by their work. Here's a guarantee to you. If people want guarantees these days, well, 100% satisfaction or happy you'll be or the service is free. It's that simple. If a customer isn't pleased with the work performed, they will make it right. You heard it. It will be free if you don't like it. A professional, experienced, trustworthy technician that will come out to your house and leave it cleaner and better than they found it. For more details or to get service at your home, visit happyhiller.com.
What's going on? Just a hair before 9 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Commanders with their first postseason win since 2005, taking down the Buccaneers 23-20 after a Zane Gonzalez kick doinks in. Baker only missing 3 throws all game, but a turnover inside the Bucs 20 after stopping the Commanders on 4th down changed the game. Commanders will now go on to face the Lions at 7 p.m. on Saturday. New England has a new head coach, Mike Vrabel, after releasing Gerard Mayo just 1 year after naming him the heir apparent to Bill Belichick. Mike Vrabel to New England always made sense after the comments he made after being inducted into their Ring of Honor.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Still have a game tonight. Vikings and Rams kickoff at 7 p.m. Winner will take on the Eagles next week in the divisional round. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. Now to Ran Carthon, live in studio. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Put those 4s up. It is hour 4 of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and we are riding out in style on this Monday morning alongside our 11-year NFL veteran, our Vol for life. It is Ramon Foster.
Hey.
We've got Robert Walsh behind the glass, making it all happen, spinning the hits. I'm Kayla Anderson. Will bowling out for the next couple of days, but we do have a very special guest in studio. Ran Carthon, kind enough to come in live in studio. Yes, he is live, not on the phone, to share just the whole 9 o'clock hour with us and to be our special guest. So first and foremost, Ran, we really appreciate you coming on in. And I'll just start with this. What has it been like over the last several days with learning that you were out with the Tennessee Titans?
Well, first and foremost, thank y'all for having me. I hate you, Ramon, for forcing me to come in-house. I could be home helping my kids get off on the bus, but you take away dad time with them, so don't feel bad.
I'm breaking up families
Yes,
out
you
here.
are.
Damn.
Yes, you are. No, you're actually helping my wife because, you know, we've been hosting a lot of people since December. So now she'll get to have the house to herself for a couple hours. So
there you go.
But to answer your question,
palatial to
don't do that.
Okay, I was just checking.
But to answer your question, Kayla, it's been different. Having this last week off, since Tuesday, and but it's also been a blessing, because of the outpour of love I've received, from people around the league. People nationally, but more important, people locally. It's been, been a bit overwhelming at times, but it's been good. And like I said, for me, man, it's having those moments with my kids. It's funny how God works sometimes. Is the news breaks and then you have a snow day, And my oldest daughter was home from college. And so we didn't allow her to drive back because of the weather, because she drove here from, where she goes to school. And so it gave us a moment as a family to just be together, and those are the times that you cherish. But yeah, I've been, working my way through it. And, like I said, the outpour of love I received from, all my friends, family, and just well wishes has been great.
Ran, for you, you came into this job, you got the warm welcoming, and obviously you had a plan of what you wanted to do for the organization as a general manager. In what way did you feel like this was surprising, or is this something that in any way you felt like, maybe my time is short here?
Well, I mean, you never approach any situation thinking like, oh, I'm going to be one and done, or, unless you're a college basketball player, you know what I mean?
Truth.
But I know at the end of the day, we're going to be judged by wins and losses, no matter what it is. And, our record just hadn't been good the last 2 years, and I understand that. But that's ultimately what it comes down to. If you look at, most people that have been let go around the league, it comes down to the wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
It does, man. Bert, we got something we need to play for him real quick, man, because you mentioned me trying to, bring you in, and you dropped the kids off and stuff like that, but I got a little clip for you that we want to play.
Oh, Lord, I don't know where we're
going. You at work? Got fired yesterday.
Wow.
For real? I thought you had a day off yesterday. I did. I went in there to pick up my check. Supervisor called me about 4 o'clock. Talking about they got me on videotape.
Napping.
Doing
napping.
And I know you ain't go out like that. Hell no. They ain't got me on tape.
Boy, the NFL locker room, it exists. You know what I mean? There's so many words I could call you right now, but, this is a family-friendly show. That I'll wait.
Or so they say.
Yeah, I'll wait till we're off air. What's funny is, honestly, this does remind me of the locker room. Because I've been on a team where, one of my teammates who, we all loved and cared about, and I still talk to this day, he was going through a divorce. And we were in the weight room working out, and all they played was like Usher, Let It Burn.
Let It Burn.
And just other breakup songs by this man. And it was, they made light of a serious situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's funny. That's funny. Just know that the get back is coming.
Exactly.
Yeah, I figured that we can go ahead and just lean into that one a little bit. You talking about you have no time, I had to drop the kids off. Nah, we got to lean into that one a little bit. Man, but you said you also wanted to just, we talked. Now, I somewhat let the fans know, earlier this week. It was like, no, you said you was in a good spot. I wanted to allow you to get that out. What does that mean for you? You're in a good spot, Ran.
No, because again, it's one of those situations where, I got love and respect for a lot of people, over there at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. And that won't change.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person that's going to, walk away and carry baggage and hatred or anything in my heart. That's just not who I am. And to me, that's just not the way to live.
Absolutely.
It's like me drinking poison, hoping that it hurts somebody else, So,
right.
But no, my main thing and one of my main focuses of wanting to come on here and do the show today was to really thank the fan base, the loyal fan base that's, that was there through tough times. And I get it. I get the criticism. I understand that because that comes with the job. Mm-hmm. I'm all here for, objective, constructive criticism. My only issue is I take issue with the personal stuff, when people come at me personally, especially if you don't know me personally, because I think if you knew me personally, you would feel a different way. But, again, the fan base was great. There are a few fans in particular that I'm seeing in my head, that, rain, sleet, hail, snow, they were there, they were rooting, they were cheering, and you have to appreciate that. I want to thank the players, and the coaches. I've talked to a good majority of the players that have reached out, and coaches as well. Like, these people will be, forever a part of my life. But yeah, man, like it's it's one of those deals where it's news cycles.
Yeah,
it's news cycles, and that's what I was, explaining to my family. Like, it's in the news now, and I'm like, 3 days from now there'll be something else
another
comes
title,
up.
yeah.
There's another headline to come, and everyone will move on. But again, I like I said, I have no ill feelings. I wish those guys nothing but the best over there. I really, truly believe in Callie and what he can do, as the coach, and I know he'll be, much better next year. And you guys would just have to, you would have had to be there to understand how he works diligently at his job every single day, to have a plan every single week, and for him to have a plan, moving forward. You know what I mean? So I really believe in him and wish him nothing but the best.
So you guys had a good relationship.
Yeah, we had a great relationship. Callie he's a guy's guy. He's a football coach. And I think people take, his demeanor, his outwardly demeanor is one thing. Yeah. But trust me, you don't want to get on that other side, because I've seen it, and I think you guys have seen it.
That's usually the case with those types of guys.
Yeah, my grandfather always told me it's not the loud ones you got to watch.
Exactly.
No, it's the quiet
ones.
ones.
It's the quiet ones.
Silent assassins.
Yeah.
It is the quiet ones, man. Adjustments for you and the family. How was that going this week? Because you have older kids, you also have younger ones too, man. Able to deal with it is because it's public. It's different if I'm working at a local establishment and I get let go. It's like, oh man, find another job. No, you were breaking news.
Oh yeah, and but that was one of those things where with the bigs, we call our older kids the bigs. With the bigs, you have that upfront conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean, and you process whatever it is they're going through. At the time, and and with the littles, you just tell them, you kind of soften it to them. Now, my 7-year-old, he's probably more in tune than me when it comes to what's going on in the world and and everything. And so he had some interesting questions. And then my youngest son, he was more concerned about being able to go to games.
Oh, really?
I
would too. I'm gonna be honest with
and
you.
where he was going to be sitting. So. It's the adjustment. I think the biggest adjustment for everybody is having me home, disrupting their daily lives. And I've heard these stories before, right? You think about a couple of my friends who played, 10, 11, 12 years in the league. Right. They retired, and now they're home every day. And some of them didn't even know where the spoons and forks and knives were in the house, or they come in and try to, disrupt the flow. You know what I mean? And so anybody that knows my wife knows that she runs stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to make sure I don't step on her toes and just get in where I fit in. But I know it's being back home, being able to be there and, and help her with the kids and, be a bigger part of that. It's good. It's going to be good for us moving forward until the next thing comes up.
No doubt. Also, I see you got in the Dreamville this morning. You've been listening to a lot of J. Cole, 2014 Forest Drive, too?
Here's the thing. That Forest Hill Drive album, I was living in St. Louis when that dropped. I might have listened to that album probably every day for like two months.
Dang.
Just because I liked it that much. But so my family, we got Apple Music and we track out Apple Music. And at the end of the year, they give you the playback.
Right.
I had by far the least amount of music listened to this year because I actually stopped listening to music. This would have been like October. So when I went back and I checked, my October stats, November, December, only thing that popped up was that I didn't have enough music played to count.
To even give you
So probably starting October, I just didn't really watch anything on TV.
Yeah.
I turned off the TVs in my office, and just because I was trying to be cognizant of what was going in my brain and in my subconscious mind. At the time, so I was trying to protect my mind, and so I started, reading a lot more than what I had been.
Right.
You probably saw me on the trips. I had a book, reading a book. Whether that was, on the flight out, on the bus ride to the game, reading a book. And so I will definitely be getting back into music, just to get caught up because I know there's so much stuff, that I've missed. Friends in the industry that have sent me their albums. Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, man, like, I know it's jamming, but I can't get to it right now. So I'm looking forward to binging that.
And that's the thing. You miss out sometimes when you are in roles like this of real just life in general, right? Because you are so focused on what you're doing. And that brings me to, Ran, you talked about it's one thing, it's a business, but it's another thing to take personal shots when you don't know you. It is what it is. There were some reports out there in terms of, sleeping on the plane or whatever it might be. You don't have to go into detail, but I do want you to have an opportunity to speak on your own, just who you are and what you do in terms of how you carry yourself in the business, which I think it's hard for people to believe that lazy would ever be a word that they would use with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been called a lot of things, and that isn't one of them. You know what I mean? Right. But again, too, when it comes to stuff like that and people who speak on you don't know you personally, like, you can shrug that off. You can shrug that off because, again, there are a lot of people that know me and know who I am, know my character, know what I'm made of. And so those people know, and that's all that matters to me. So, I mean, again, I'm not going to give credence to, again, someone who is, never sat down, had a personal conversation with me or been in my home or been invited to my home or I've been invited to their home. So, there are a bunch of people that say things about me, even before I even had a chance to do the job, there were negative things said about me. And so if I gave that credence, then, I'd lose my mind, especially, in this day and age. So none of that really means anything to me, to be honest with you. But I know who I am. The people I love, the people that I cherish, they know who I am. And so if they felt that way, then it would be different. It would be something for me to, take a look at. But other than that, I could give two.
You know what?
It's a family show.
Exactly. You're doing good though, Ran, because if it was me, I'd probably already be F-bombing. So
look at Bert on some ratchetness out. I'm like, no, say it. You say it. No, that's funny though, because when I heard that, I saw that. I ain't really read the article like that. I just saw what was attached to it, and I was just like, wait, hold up. Like the day that you interrupt us at camp, you would send in, I think you sent me like a picture of somebody then that you were scouting. Then you also said I look like the Iowa State kid or something like that. So I was like diving into like drafts and like work. That was confusing to me to have that put out there. But we're up against the break. We got you in the next segment.
Yeah, let's have some fun. This is too sappy.
Too sappy. Should we play the Usher when we return? Let it burn.
Let it burn.
Ran Carthon in studio live right now. We'll continue this conversation. That's coming up next on RKW here on 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back into RK Dub on this Monday morning. Like I said, Mondays can kind of be a drag sometimes, but hopefully on this show we pick you up a little. In studio, Ran Carthon. Been here since 9 a.m., continuing with us today. And we've got a full chat. I'm sure, the phone lines, if they could be popping, they would. But people are just interested in listening, which is never a bad thing, right?
I got one quick question for you before we go to
here we go.
ratchetness. You ain't got to speak directly in your situation, but how in these situations do it not work as far as like jobs? Because I got a homeboy of mine, his real good friend Gerard, is one and done. The way it goes around the league, like what goes in place in front offices for these type of situations? Then we get past the sappiness.
Honestly, and this is something Kayla and I were talking about off air. It varies from place to place. It really does, and it can, and that's not the political answer. That's the truth.
Right.
You look at any situation around the league, whether it's a coach, whether it's a GM that were let go in just this cycle.
Right.
And I guarantee you, every single situation is different.
Yeah.
Every single situation is different. So I know that probably didn't give you the answer that you were looking for.
No, I get it.
But I think every situation is just different because no one knows what's going on behind closed doors except for those people that were behind the doors.
Right.
And so some of the things that come out publicly, you don't know how true they are. And so again, it's really different based on the organization.
It is. And you had an outpouring of support, too, from people that hit you up, asking, like, it's fascinating how interconnected the NFL is on, like, how people feel about people that respect. And it's all connections and how this world goes. Trust me, I've learned that on my back end, too. It's just like, oh, you knew who I was? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really is that type of world, though.
No, 100%. And it's a... it's a family. Again, there was another conversation that, Kayla and I were having off air, about, just the different people that you've worked with throughout the years, that, you guys separate, you guys go in different places for a multitude of reasons, whether people get promotions, get jobs, or people are fired. But again, when they see one of their brothers down, it's the immediate, response. And then you get, it's the text, it's the calls. And then, it start coming in later.
Yeah.
Like even on my way here, I got 3 or 4 texts from people, hey, man, I wanted to let the dust settle, and reach out and see how you were doing. Even since I've been here, on air, I can tell you now, there are people in the Bay Area that are listening to this that are texting me, right now. And so, again, it's family,
it is.
And these logos don't, dictate who your family can be. We're not all the Hayward family where, both brothers can be on the same team. You know what I mean? That makes it easy for mom and the other family.
That'd be nice, right?
That would be great, but at the same time, we have, relationships with, people at, people in San Fran and people in Minnesota and people in Cleveland.
Right.
And, people in Houston, you know what I mean? It's as crazy as that is, a division rival, which was always a weird thing to navigate, for me personally, because of the love I have for D'Amico Ryans and his family.
No doubt.
And, I was telling Kayla, my kids, when they lived in San Francisco or in San Jose, they went to school out of district.
Right.
Which was a 30-minute drive from where we lived, but that was a block from D'Amico Ryan's house. So my kids would leave school and they would go to D'Amico's house and do their homework and, wait for me and my wife, to come get them. My daughter would babysit, for him. And then, I get a job here, he gets a job in Houston, and now we're supposed to hate each other.
Rivals,
You know what I mean? But it was still, nothing but love between us and our families, and it will forever remain that, because I always used to tell players, this game is cyclical.
Yeah.
And one thing I told the players, I'll never lie to you. You might not like what I have to say, but I'll never lie to you, because we could end up in the same building somewhere else. And I don't want a player to be able to kill my credibility in the locker room saying that I lied to him.
Yeah.
Now, you could say you hate me because I told you I don't think you could play or this game isn't for you. That's different, right? Because that's my opinion, versus you going in the locker room saying, hey, man, I don't trust that dude. He lied to me. And as a player, if someone in the locker room says that about a new person in the building, they're done.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I always understood that and maintain that level of integrity especially when it came to dealing with the players and the coaches.
Hey, Ran, in terms of quarterbacks in this league, what do you feel like Will Levis's future in the NFL is? And what do you feel like in terms of this draft, the talent in terms of the quarterback position is?
I think Will's going to be fine. We have to understand with Will, I think this may have been the fourth different offense he's had to learn in as many years. You know what I mean? And just him having another year in the system, is going to help him, understand what Cali wants in the system, understands, what it takes to play quarterback in the system. I think that'll help him. And then just in terms of the draft, I mean, it's the NFL, it's college football. It's going to always be talented dudes in this draft. So you're going to always be able to find them. It's the easy thing to say. I mean, you look at all these great quarterbacks. If you go down the list of all the teams in the playoffs, right, that started the playoffs, and look where they took those quarterbacks.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like the research is there. You know what I mean? So you can go back and you can look at where those quarterbacks were taken. But then you will also see that there's a quarterback that was maybe taken in a second. Or, you look back last year, there was in Brock Purdy, the last pick of the draft.
The last Mr. Irrelevant.
So it's really you're going to be able to find players all throughout the draft.
Yeah,
what would you do in terms of drafting, though, if you were the Titans and you have all these options at number one?
I would draft a good player.
If you're number one, there are plenty of players.
You just mentioned the quarterbacks at the top of the rounds on the teams that's in the playoffs.
No, I didn't say at the top of the round.
Yeah.
I just said where they were taken. That could be free agency. That could be first round, second round.
Do you think, though, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are legit, starters possibly in this league, though? I'm a big Cam Ward fan, so, I've been on that since he played for Washington State. But, again, I don't see that on film I'm not sitting there diving into that stuff.
Kayla like Cam Ward. He went to Washington State.
Yeah, that's damn right. And
I just needed Kayla to say that real quick.
Yeah, he's a worker, though. He's a worker. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
No, I think both of those guys are worthy, are capable of being starters, in the National Football League. And I think they've shown that in their play. The cool thing about, if you look at both of their situations, they both started at other schools, other programs, and then came in and continued to lead programs to success.
Yeah.
You look at Cam, started at Incarnate Word, and then, Washington State, and then Miami, and then you look at Shedeur. I think people forget that Shedeur coming out was a FAU commit to Willie Taggart.
That's right.
At the time.
Yeah.
And then, went to Jackson State, won at Jackson State, went to Colorado, lifted that program up. And had them in contention for, a conference championship. So I think both of those guys, they're more than capable of being starters in the National Football League.
For sure. We talked at I think it was first season you was here. It's just you ain't been on vacation yet. The wife finally got you. What? You got Dreamville on the shirt. You look very relaxed now. You've dropped some weight and everything, man.
Yeah, by the way, Rand, looking good.
Yeah, what? I thought it was the stress of the season. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Feeling svelte.
I think I might have asked that.
I think I saw you last game. You losing weight. I actually was thinking boy, it's stressing the hell out of him right now. But what's the plans in the imminent future here?
Like you said, me and my wife, we were talking last night. I think she's already tired of me, and just creating more structure for the day, for us day to day. This week would have been, an off week, had everything worked out, anyway. Yep. So had plans of taking this week off and, resting and relaxing. But I'll say this much. When I leave from here, I'm going to get my passport.
Okay.
I lost my passport.
I was going to say, hold up. You wait too important not to have a passport.
No, I lost my passport, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm going to, again, I think the number one thing for me more than anything is being a present husband and father.
Yes, sir.
In a way that I haven't been able to be in the last 17 years. Now, I've always made my family a priority. You know what I mean? I don't miss my kids' games if I can help it. I don't miss parent-teacher conferences.
You sound like Ramon, honestly.
School performances. I make that a point. I make that a point of emphasis for me. But now, again, just being there, I have a friend here who's become a mentor, And, he went through a hard time, probably, I guess, going on 15 years ago. And I asked him, I was like, how did you handle that, from a personal, standpoint? And like, how did you get through it? And he told me, he said, when I went through that, he said, I took that as there was a lesson or something that God wanted me to see.
Right.
And he created the space for me to see it. And that guy said, from the day his situation started to happen, he poured into his wife, he poured into his kids. He created a routine of, working out with his wife, making, breakfast and lunch for his kids before school, spending more time with his kids, that way. So that's what I'm most, excited about doing and being is more present as a husband and father.
No doubt about it. It's always fascinating, man, the life. Like, I never forget when I retired, I felt like the weight of the world was gone. Like, I can breathe. It'll be fascinating to see how your family adjusts to you, as you just said, and also what you do. Like, that's the biggest thing I felt like I had. Like, I got more busy, I'll be honest with you. Like, I got like 5 different jobs right now. But I know you probably going to be kicked up, chilling, and catching back up on your music, man.
Well, I mean, I could do that while exploring.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? But, it's one of those things for me, man. Like, I'm curious. I'm a curious person. So there are a lot of things that, I'm interested in that I'll be able to look into now, in the interim, until something, comes up. This is a crazy time of year in the NFL offseason.
Yeah,
All-Star games are kicking off here soon, next week and through, the couple weeks. And then it's the combine, and then it's the start of the new league year and free agency. So it's a crazy time. But I'll definitely keep myself busy, finish some books. I probably read about 2-3 books at a time, just different places.
Okay.
During the season, the book that I kept with me in my bag and I only read it when we traveled, it was called the 5 Regrets of the Dying, right? Which kind of gives you perspective on what matters most in the end. It's a collection of stories of people who were, on their last days, and they shared with this lady, what they regretted the most.
Yeah.
And what they missed out on. So that was kind of like my keep things in perspective.
Yeah.
And then my nighttime reading is the Last Will and Testament of Lucky Luciano. And so
look gangster right here.
And so that's what I'm currently reading. And then really getting into the Bible.
Yeah.
And exploring that. Shout out to Mitch and
him
Ted,
on
and Ted Cruz
Thursday
in Chicago. And then a daily devotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just covering it all, man. Just covering it all.
So for you, Ran, with having time to reflect now, what did you learn, I guess, the most about your time as a general manager here? And is that in your future?
I can't say whether it's in my future or not because I don't own a team.
Yeah.
That's up for other people to decide. The one thing I learned, about it, and you kind of knew it if you pay attention to the GMs that you work for. It's a lot that goes into the job, and it's not just sitting down watching film, breaking the film down. Like, there's so much that goes on a day-to-day basis, and it really depends on the type of person you are. And I know everyone GM's different.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I was a little bit more hands-on, when it came to the players because of, the relationships and just feeling like me coming from the culture, I understand these guys in a different way.
Right.
And I can understand, what they may be going through at the time and be able to help them. So, I took on a lot, from that standpoint. But, the one thing I'll walk away from this is that relationships matter. Relationships matter, more than anything, really. People have to be able to trust you. And again, that's everybody in the building, from the third floor ticketing office down to football ops. They have to trust you. And so, I've always carried myself that way, to be a trustworthy person, a reliable person that people could count on. In all my roles, starting from the very beginning of my career, I used to joke and call myself the camp counselor. You know what I
Love
mean?
that. I used to play camp counselor.
Because whether it was a player or a coach,
sure,
or whomever, support staff, whatever the case may be, you're someone that people trust to come talk their real life problems with. And if you can help them work through their real life problems, you free up their mind to be able to do, their job at a higher level, which matters.
Yeah.
And it means something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm that's the part that, I'll take with me and I'm probably going to miss the most.
Oh, we're supposed to be kicking back, joking a little bit around her, man.
Y'all came back sappy again.
I know. Well, you got the journalist in the room here.
You do have the journalist in the room.
I was born into this.
That was awesome. You answered it properly, though. I got to give that to you. I think a lot of folks expecting you to go slanderous, but that ain't going to be the best method of operation.
And listen, I hate it for the people in the chat. That wanted me to go Cat Williams or
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
We were joking coming in that scene from Half Baked. I'm not gonna do what you think I'm gonna do
and wig out. Wig out.
Like I said, man, this experience, no matter how it ended, right? Yeah. It brought me to Nashville. It brought me to a place that I knew existed, but I wouldn't have found Nashville on my own.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it brought me to a place that could potentially be my forever home, and it allowed me to realize a dream, that I've had since, I was a kid of becoming a GM. You know what I mean? So you can look at it from a slanderous standpoint and go that route if you want to. But like I said, again, that's drinking poison, hoping that it hurts somebody else. Or you can look at, take it from the positive, standpoint, and that's what I choose to do. I'm not going to allow myself or anyone around me to live in a funk. And trust me,
sure.
The outpouring love I've gotten from my friends and the constant questions, I can show you right now on my phone. I got 2 texts right now asking, one saying, how was the weekend? And then the other one is how you doing?
Yeah.
And the weekend, the one asking me about the weekend is more so like, hey, with football being on. And, you know what I mean? And so, again, like when I tell people, I'm doing well. Mm-hmm. I'm doing well. Still a lot to process. There's still a lot of things to, work out. But I'm not down in the dumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I left that room that day, it was hugs, and everything left on the up and up. So I'm in a positive space. Mm-hmm. So enough with this sappy stuff. Ramon, let's get this thing. Let's go.
No doubt. Kendrick, Super Bowl.
K-Dot.
Are you going for the Super Bowl? First and foremost, you still get access in a sense.
No.
You not?
Ramon, you know the rule.
What is the rule?
I think I know the rule.
If you're not playing in the Super Bowl,
you don't go.
You don't go
it's
to
been
the
mine
game.
too.
Do you go to like the parties and stuff though?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not a big crowd of people type of person.
So you are serious about the job and not lazy.
If you're just not tuning in, we've asked plenty of questions, so you can go back and listen to the podcast if you're just joining.
Yeah.
I will. Will I watch? That's the.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
After we lost it, I still hadn't seen the full Green Bay game in 2011 in totality that we lost.
Same when we went in 2019 with the Niners against the Chiefs. I've never watched that game.
Same.
So same. I didn't get to watch that game on the plane, or any other time after that. So
that's hey sir, any other time after. Get out of here, man. But what did you think of that though this time around? Like we've seen somebody. We're gonna speak music for a second. Somebody in Drake that's had the rap game in a chokehold, entertainment, and just get uprooted like that. Like, is that usually big business for the most part? Like, is that how it goes across most industries? I've said it this morning. Anybody that's been successful got a lot of dirt underneath their hands, more times than not. Like, is that how you've seen this situation go for a dude that had everything and now nothing?
Nah, man. It's honestly, you gotta. I'll say it this way: you gotta pick your battles.
Okay.
And I didn't when Cole stepped away from the beef, and he said, "You know what? I'll gracefully bow out."
Yeah.
The competitor in me was like, "What are you doing?
I did too.
How are you going to be one of the GOATs?" But then you saw the bludgeoning and the onslaught of just And sometimes you got to know your opponent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, Drake probably does make better music, better radio friendly, more catchy stuff than Kendrick.
Charting stuff.
Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah.
But Kendrick is one of those students of the game type rappers that knows no end. He's that friend that we had in the neighborhood that just didn't know when to stop.
I got one.
And so everybody has one.
Yeah.
And you could beat up that person or you could out joke that person, but that person wins because they never stop.
Yeah.
And so
Relentless.
Yeah.
And so Kendrick is one of those people. And then on top of that, not only does he never stop, but he's making good music.
Now.
And we should thank Drake because Drake got him back to making stuff that people know and respect Kendrick for.
That's fascinating. And of course, I could easily correlate it to sports. Like the times that I got better was the time I either got embarrassed or I'll never forget, like being refueled by not winning the starting job my second year in the NFL. I was stepping on anything that came on my way.
Yeah, and that's the part too. And I think you should be nervous when Drake is really quiet. Now, again, that's to me because I'm not on social media. I don't know what Champagne Poppy is doing, on the internet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when people like him, because he's very thoughtful,
right?
And when people like that get quiet, it should make people nervous.
Same thing you said about Callahan earlier. When he's quiet, be on the lookout, man. We got to go to a break real quick though. But fascinating approach to it. I enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. I can't listen to Drake music the same.
Nah, it's
Kendrick bodied him.
Yeah, but I mean, I hate to say this, but you lost to the Packers, right, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you stop doing Steelers stuff?
No, absolutely not.
That's the point.
That's
the point.
It's just
it's a moment.
You're
it's
not
a
going to
loss.
lay down.
It's a moment.
It's a loss. That does not disqualify any of the great stuff that he made before that.
My passion and his passion is just different though too. Mine is I was directly affected by it. That one's not so much. We'll see. We got more to talk about.
We do. We still got to wrap up the show, guys. We've got Ran here the whole hour. We will wrap up the show, get more from Ran Carthon. He is live in studio. That's coming up next here on RKW 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back into RK wrapping up the show. Ran Carthon live in studio, kind enough to join us for this full hour. And wow, it's been a crazy weekend in terms of NFL news. I did want to bring up Mike Vrabel being hired by the Patriots. What did you think about the hire?
No, it's good for him. Good for him. He's a legend, up in that area. I'm sure that's going to excite the fan base, and get them going. And, they got guys up there and Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith who are great at what they do. So none but the best. Wish them the best.
No doubt about it. Same here. They got the guy. I hate my guy had to get gone, but I say that, not you, and that's on me right there.
No, I got tons of love for Mayo.
Yeah.
Tons of, and because I, reached out
Absolutely.
but got tons of love for Mayo. Wish him nothing but the best as well. He'll be fine.
Well, folks in the chat asked also, since you're into this musical tip, you got a playlist you gonna drop? You need to be a celebrity DJ for the day. You got to at this point.
Hey, listen. If that's where you want to go,
yeah, absolutely.
I can. Now I know it has to be above board, but no, we can figure it out because we can go R&B, we can go soul.
I got you.
We can go 90s, hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I got everything in this phone, man. I got everything from. I did a playlist. This is about a couple years ago of sampled songs.
Nice.
So I did the sample, like the original, and then I did the sample.
Yep.
Oh
wow, yeah. I've done that.
I did a whole back and forth, one for hip hop, one for R&B.
No doubt.
Nice.
So
I've
Those are two
done
of my
that
genres.
before too. No, it's actually pretty dope to go back and hear the original, then hear the new version of it. Super, super dope, man. On the way out, because we about a minute left, man. What was the most fun part about the job? Like, because you grew up in the NFL, your pops has been in it, you played. Like, this has been your entire adult life.
Yeah, the fun part again was being around the players. Yeah, and watching them mature, watching them grow. And again, that's at every stop that I've been at. You come over to my house and you look at my closet in the front, and it's a bunch of jerseys that players have given me, throughout the years. And just building a relationship with those guys, and again making it's a personal relationship. Like, we have the football piece, but then I know these players' moms, and I know their dads and their brothers and sisters and, people that are close to them. And, just being able to do that, being able to, even me being in this position, provide a place for players who don't have somewhere to go for Thanksgiving or a place for players who don't have somewhere to go for Christmas. And, it's one thing, Callie and I used to talk about this. Callie says as the head coach, like, I open my house, but nobody's coming over to the head coach's house. You know what I mean? But then for me to do the same and actually have players hit you up and say, it's I'm a bunch of things. I've had one player say, hey, look, man, I don't know if you're my dad, my brother, my uncle, you know what I mean? So I teeter between being pops, being unk, OG, but being able to provide them a place where they know they could come for the holiday season and be comfortable and spend that time with me and my family. You know what I mean? Like, my kids love it, particularly my sons, because they recognize every single player, know their name and their jersey number and where they went to school, and giving the players a safe space. So that's the part, that I've enjoyed the most and that I'll miss in the interim.
And I'll say, too, one more time with the class that you drafted this past one, it had to have been awesome to see some of these guys really blossom and get experience. I mean, nothing beats that. But T'Vondre Sweat, I just, how good is it to look back at that and say, damn, we made the right decision?
No, it's all those guys are my babies, going all the way back to the first class with Peter. And Peter's going to be a stud in this league.
Dude, he's grown. He's a leader in that locker room, Ran, and I thank him for that.
You legitimately have a chance to walk away from that locker room with Big Jeff, Sweat, Peter, and JC being the leaders of your football team. You know what I mean? And Ramon, you know that as a big man, nobody's going to come in there and mess with those dudes.
Absolutely not. And I tell people all the time, those are your cornerstones. Like the receivers get the love. They're the show. They're the ones the NFL put up on the TV screen. But the bigs is who run the team, and you got to have a good accumulation of those.
Yeah, and I think that's there. Like I said, all those guys are my babies. Proud of all of them. Proud of Jarvis. and how he grew. And, you knew what Jarvis was, and because we're from the same place.
Yeah.
And, you would have to go back and listen to that draft night call. And I think what I asked him to do on that draft night call, I think he did it. So excited for those guys.
Pretty cool. Ran, we can't thank you enough. Ran Carthon, appreciate you again. And good luck to you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And if any of you guys ever miss any more days and need me to come sit in as a guest host,
sweet.
Got nothing but time on my hands.
Love it.
We're going to ask more questions next time about this draft and his number one pick. If you do it again.
All right, that does it for the show. RK Dub on this Monday. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. Ramon?
Y'all know how it goes, man. At all times, man, your Twitter fingers and your mic always hot.